Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. So, welcome to the DJI Academy US Inspection course. Okay, so I introduce myself lah first lah. So, my name is Muhammad Danial. Okay, boleh panggil Danial sahaja. So, for this class we mix language lah, DM and BIM kan Okay, so nama saya Muhammad Danial. I will be your trainer lah untuk this US inspection training. So a little bit about my background is that I actually come from aircraft engineering punya study, okay. And then masa nak graduate tu, masa nak cari the last semester for internship tu ada COVID and 2020 COVID and everything. So aviation industry took a big down. So I tried to find another industry yang related to something yang benda terbang, something that flies. So that's where I find myself in the drone industry. And since then I've been in the drone industry lah. So my experience in drone has been in a lot of mostly operation dari segi mapping, inspection tak sangat, jarang, because actually to be fair the inspection punya penggunaan drone in inspection dekat Malaysia tak banyak. Mostly is on mapping. So that's where most of my experience come from. And then after I do most of my operation, I switch to Drones Kaki and DJI Academy. I basically been a trainer for more than a year lah. Yeah, okay. So that's just a little bit about me. So now kita go through about our session plan. Basically, our plan for the whole 4 days. So basically, this US inspection is 4 days, okay, 4 hari. So from today, Monday until Thursday. And then if we look at here, dia ada kita punya break kat sini. Okay, basically it is basically like this lah, kita punya session plan. Kalau tengok sini teori, and then break, which is lunch break, and then practical session. So it will be like this for the whole 4 days. Okay, theory, break, practical. Atau maybe most likely tomorrow kita akan ubah sikit, maybe practical ke atas, break, lunch break, and then baru theory session. Okay, sebab kita tengok juga cuaca, sebab lately cuaca ada dua je. The weather here either it's too hot or suddenly hujan lebat. So we have to look at the weather. So this will be our plan lah for the whole 4 days. The 4th day, hari keempat, the last day, it will be a pure exam day for both theory and practical exam. Okay, so you guys brought your laptop. So for the theory exam, most likely kita kena pakai laptop sebab dia online exam. Okay, so for the practical, of course we provide our own drones. And so, but do you guys bring your own drone?
No, because my drone is all the way in Brunei.
Okay. Ada drone nanti take. Okay, so this is ni kita punya plan lah. So sekarang kita go through, kita get to know each other sikit lah kan, sebab we are going to be here for 4 days. So kita start dengan I already know your name, but let them know your name. So introduce yourself, where you're from, and then why join this course, and what is your experience in drone, and what you hope to gain from this course. So next slide.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Philip from Brunei. So currently I'm working as an operations coordinator in DNB Brunei. So DNB is primarily we are doing inspection for Brunei Shell Petroleum. So the reason why I'm joining this course is because DNB is transitioning into mostly for drone inspection. That's one thing, and then the second is to understand more on the practicality and applications of drone in a wider range of inspection rather than just what we usually know as a visuals. What I hope to gain is understanding and knowledge also on the practical way of operating a drone. My experience for drone, not that much, maybe just recently, around 6 months ago.
So not that long now. But you are mostly going more for inspection, using drone for inspection, not mapping.
No.
Okay, I see.
I had experience with drones, but not first hand, because before this we used to work close with two companies, which is Cyberhawk and also SkyFuture. So
SkyFuture in
Yeah.
Malaysia. Oh, okay.
So now we are transitioning into our own drone operation. That is why I'm here to understand.
Understand? Okay, thank you, Philip. Kita gabang ni pula. Khairul.
From SGS Malaysia.
SGS tu nama panjang.
Nama panjang nak sebut pun social engineering dia based pada bahasa Geneva daripada Swiss.
Oh, okay.
Kita punya ni memang inspection. Okay. Reason untuk kelas ni memang actually kita zero knowledge pasal drone. So baru beli. So kita orang kalau ikutkan memang tak punya hantar tu untuk handle untuk drone ni lah. Untuk kita orang punya kerja sama juga untuk develop satu department drone untuk buat inspection.
Okay, understand.
So yang lain lebih kurang sama juga. Semua based on inspection punya part lah. Tak ada buat beza.
Understand. So dari segi in terms of experience, pernah fly? Tak pernah fly. Okay. Okay. Kita go next.
Okay, good morning. My name is Mohd. Nama saya Mohd. Sama company sama.
SGS.
Ya. Drone sebenarnya untuk SGS tu sama lah macam kita develop new, sebenarnya dia untuk new scope lah, inspection punya method lah. Then kita orang looking forward to new skill lah untuk drone ni. Then lepas tu experience previously memang zero sama je, kosong tak tahu apa. Lepas tu hope untuk course ni hope can gain a new experience and new knowledge about this drone.
Understand. So for both of you guys, dua-dua tak pernah fly drone. Okay, tak apa. For Philip, 6 months tu what drone did you fly?
My factory.
Mavic 3,
So
the Enterprise or the
enterprise.
Enterprise? I
Yeah.
see. Okay, understand. It's okay. Walaupun you guys tak faham, but basically the first day of the US inspection, even though because if we look here at our Danial account, our content here for today. So even though bila masa cakap dengan when you talk with Darren and acquiring about the cost and everything, even though he said US inspection is advanced, the first day usually kita akan go through the basics, because sometimes even though orang tu dia dah 3 tahun fly drone, bila when we show him about the basic, the system, the overview, everything, dia pun macam, oh yeah, I forgot lah benda ni. So we still go through the basics so that you guys, before you fly, you will know about the basic first. Okay. So these are the topics that we will go through today. Kalau tengok ada banyak, but of course we will take few break times lah kan, sebab if we go through this whole thing sampai most likely 12:30 atau 12 o'clock we nanti dah tak fokus dah. So kita akan break maybe 1 hour sekejap, 1 hour sekejap macam tu lah. Other than that, I talk about the amenities first. Facility ada kat sini. So tadi Bang Khairul dah pergi toilet sana. Ashraf pun dah pergi toilet dekat sana. So dua-dua boleh pakai, tak kisah mana-mana yang senang. So just to know, just so you know lah ya, Philip. So you got toilets from here and you got also toilet over there. Okay. Untuk surau di tingkat 2. Okay. Untuk praktikal pula, nak tanya, you guys datang ke sini naik apa? Kereta. You is it Grab or your Grab? Okay. So later, because practical field kita area 57 is jauh sikit, bukan jauh 2 km, jauh lah tu. Basically memang kena naik kenderaan. Okay, tak boleh jalan ni. So once kita habis teori kelas kita, okay, go for lunch, bawa bag semua sekali, and then dah habis lunch tu, kita set lah maybe 1:30 atau pukul 2 start balik practical session kita. So straightly go to your car, bawa kereta asing-asing ke sekali? Asing bawa masuk dalam ambil kereta terus pergi ke area kita akan bagi location lah. For Philip, you will go with us lah.
Okay.
Ride with us lah.
Okay.
And then dah habis practical tu balik terus lah. Tak payah datang sini dah balik. Okay. For lunch pula, we will also provide you the lunch. So tak perlu keluar makan. And so for the first 3 days, I believe we makan dekat mamak bawah. Unless Darren ada nak belanja benda lain lah. But usually we will have something special on the 4th day. Okay. Alright. So if we look at our topics here, ada banyak. Kalau tengok the first topic, DJI Enterprise Ecosystem, which is introduction to DJI Enterprise, and then the basics of drone. So kalau tengok semua UAV, ini semua pasal drone. And then kita akan go through the main DJI Enterprise punya product, okay, and then flight safety, and then drone legislation in Malaysia. Okay, so we go through DJI Enterprise Ecosystem first. Okay, for DJI Enterprise Ecosystem, nak tanya first, abang apa ni? Drone yang baru beli ni, drone apa? Tak tahu.
Sebab actually kita tahu daripada HRD, ini macam perancangan. Okay, dalam kita suruh masuk untuk ni, kita tak tengok.
Oh, drone ni dah lama.
Dalam bulan juga.
Tapi kita pun banyak video dia.
Kita dekat site.
Oh, okay.
Ini dekat nak tahun ni pun buka.
Understand tak? Okay, so kita kita go through a bit about DJI Enterprise sebab dalam bidang abang and Philip as well, in your dalam industri korang, which is the inspection, mostly drone yang akan pakai is the drone drone DJI Enterprise. Okay, so now aku masuk DJI Enterprise ni. So ni just a little bit product history sikit lah. Dulu masa when DJI was formed, dia keluarkan drone sahaja. Okay, dia keluarkan as much drone as possible, dia manufacture drone. And then masa 2017 dia keluarkan Matrix 200. Pernah nampak Matrix 200 tak? Pernah? Philip pernah kan? Okay, so the Matrix 200 ni is basically the kickstart lah, where DJI dia keluarkan, introduce one basically sub brand daripada dia punya main brand dia. Main brand dia, if pernah pergi shopping mall, ada nampak kedai-kedai DJI. Ada kan? Itu biasanya drone kedai-kedai tu they sell the consumer drone yang more to taking photograph, videography, drone yang just for recreational use lah. DJI Enterprise ni susah nak jumpa dekat kedai-kedai dekat mall. DJI Enterprise ni biasanya kena cari dengan either dealer ataupun dengan distributor. One of them is us lah. Okay. So Enterprise ni they form this division most specifically untuk manufacture drone yang untuk kegunaan industri berat like agriculture, solar panel, construction, oil and gas, that kind of thing lah. And then throughout the years, they always come up with their own drone lah. But of course kalau kita tengok sini, if we look through 2018 and 2019, it's mostly just advanced version of the drone yang diorang dah pernah ada. Macam contoh 2018 Phantom 4 RTK. Sebelum ni memang ada drone Phantom 4 yang biasa pun yang memang kegunaan untuk fly saja. But then they keluarkan Phantom 4 RTK which is mostly used for mapping, and then Mavic 2 Enterprise which kalau pernah nampak Mavic 2 rasanya Mavic 3 ni. Rasa je lah Mavic 2. And then Mavic 2 which is an old drone which is a lot of people use for photograph, videograph apa semua, but then they keluarkan enterprise version. And then 2020 is when diorang baru macam basically diorang kuat lah, orang baru kenal diorang lah because of the Matrix 300. Matrix 300 ni pernah nampak? Have you flew before?
I've seen it, but the camera itself is already the price of I don't know.
That thing we talk about it later. Okay, and then in 2022 last year they released this one was their most productive year lah basically because they released like 5 products. They released Matrix 30, and then they also released DJI Dog here, and then 3 different Mavic 3 Enterprise. The drone on this table is Mavic 3. Ni Mavic 3 sahaja, just Mavic 3. Rasanya cuba buka tengok. Rasa Mavic 3. So battery besar. Betul? Mavic 3.
Oh, Mavic 3 comes with a soft bag as well.
Yeah, this the Fly More. Oh, ni Mavic 3 Classic ni rasanya. Ada beza? Ada beza? Tak, ini yang biasa, Mavic 3 yang pertama ni. Ini Classic. Okay. Just for quick short answer, Mavic 3 Classic kamera dia lagi low specs, kamera maling. Mavic 3 biasa. Tu je. But we get more into it later. Okay, but that is essentially the punya product history lah. Okay, as I mentioned, the main reason it exists is to provide solution to these 3 demographic lah. Ni dia punya main target lah, main customer yang dia target lah over in China. Untuk Malaysia, so far the most paling banyak pakai is surveying and mapping. Ni paling banyak pakai. Tak kisah in which industry, agriculture, construction, developer, solar panel, semua akan mostly diorang akan suruh minta buat mapping. And then in terms of public safety, most kita punya bomber and police semua pakai benda ni. What about Brunei? Brunei, the police?
No, I think now the only first department that is using drone in Brunei will be oil and gas industry.
Oil and gas industry.
Nothing out of oil and gas.
Understand?
Government didn't.
Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for our police, they have around 20 Matrix 300.
Oh.
Yeah, government funding so they buy about whatever they want lah. And then in terms of inspection, to be honest, inspection dekat Malaysia tak banyak. And even though if you look at the picture pun kita dah tahu, we know they target the use of drone on pylon. Okay, but I talked to some electrical engineers who also work on these things. They said to use drone and inspect on pylon or main network ni is a how to say no need pun, because to inspect and replace inspect this thing is very macam mana nak kata, how to say little to the macam mana nak kata kadar the frequency of you checking inspect this thing is very sikit per year, maybe check once a year or maybe twice a year macam tu je. So mostly they say in Malaysia, if you want to use drone for inspection, look for oil and gas, solar panel, other than that telco tower. That is our main market lah in Malaysia. Okay, so these are the products that is currently being used in DJI Enterprise ecosystem. So all the drones that I mentioned just now, Phantom 4 RTK, Matrix 200, Mavic 2 Enterprise, all that semua dah basically outdated lah, obsolete. So now this is the current product that it is using. As we know, there's the Matrix 300, and then there's the five drones that they released last year. Matrix 30, okay, Matrix 30. Pernah nampak Matrix 30? Tak pernah juga. Okay, so okay. And then Mavic 3 Enterprise. Okay, Mavic 3 Enterprise ada 3 different Mavic 3 Enterprise. Ada Mavic 3 Enterprise. There's M3E, which is mostly used for surveying and mapping. M3T, which is used for inspection, because T stands for thermal, dia ada thermal camera. And then M3M, multispectral, which is used for agriculture. And then ni DJI Dock. Technically, even though DJI marketnya this product released last year, it actually just released last month. Last month. So DJI Dock ni is basically, it's big, it's quite heavy actually. So 4 orang tolak pun rasa tak berat. It's too heavy. It's around 150 kilogram pun. Berat. Our partner over in AOD, they have to use like a forklift to move it. So this thing is like this big. Okay. So inside this thing ada drone, which is specifically Matrix 30, sah saja. So when you buy this thing, it will come with Matrix 30. Matrix 30. You basically place this thing anywhere you want. Most preferably bumbung. If you are in, let's say in this sort of area, you place it atas bumbung. And then basically remote tak ada. You don't get a remote. You can buy if you want a remote, buy separately. You don't get a remote, and you basically control the drone from the laptop.
With a software.
With a software, of course. So basically, your laptop also have to connect to the internet. Then DJI Dock most likely also have to connect to the internet. Okay, and then from there, daripada atas, you can, when you set automatic vision ataupun manual flight, when you switch on, this thing akan buka. Dia akan buka. Sebenarnya nampak yang benda itu kan, nanti dia akan buka, and then drone akan terbang from there. And then bila drone terbang, and then after you finish flying, you want to go back, it will go back here, and then it will charge itself inside here. Drone will charge itself inside here. Hari tu last month during the launching of this product, there is a demonstration I think you can look for it in YouTube, DJI Dock.
but not really very itulah portable.
It's not made for. It's not made for. Okay, we have this product. Let's go to here. Okay, we have another. We have a project. Let's go here. We have another project. Let's go here. No. It's made for
Satu tempat.
situ saja.
Okay. Maybe a long project macam monitoring on one
If
project.
it's like a project like 2 years punya project, 1 year punya project, boleh lah. And usually like when they need connect to internet, usually people pakai dongle. Okay, itu drone. Now payload. Payload ni pula is the camera. As you can see, is the camera. Now these payloads is only limited to Matrix 300. Matrix 300 saja pakai benda ni. Lain-lain ni semua dia ada dia punya kamera sendiri. Matrix 300 saja yang when you buy, bila beli dia tak datang dengan kamera. Itu yang Philip tadi cakap. Kamera dia mahal. Sebab in terms of pricing, Matrix 300 is 30,000 ringgit. That's how much in Brunei?
10,000 Brunei.
10,000 Brunei. Ini, these are all ni sama juga harga 30,000. This one is 45,000. This one is 15,000.
Okay. Last year SGS nak beli satu drone 3D scan.
3D scan.
Tapi price dia dekat-dekat 800.
Apa tu?
I tak tahu sebab tu. Then kita cancel lah. Sebab
3D 3D punya teknologi, 3D scanning atau 3D reconstruction is mahal lah.
sebab dia yang mahal dia punya kamera.
Yang mahal kamera. This one is L1, Japanese L1, which is LiDAR camera. LiDAR basically dia for the everyday person, kita nak simplify kan, is basically macam 3D scanning lah. LiDAR ni, this camera cost around 50,000 like that. If you ask someone who specializes in LiDAR technology, they will say this is the cheapest LiDAR that you can find. LiDAR technology sometimes can be 1 million, 3 million. But this is the payload lah, okay? And then the software. So of course, just now we thought DJI Dock use software, right? All the drones actually use software to fly, and that is the DJI Pilot 2 application. Before this, they used DJI Pilot, which is Pilot 1 and Pilot 1. This is Pilot 2, Pilot 1. Now they upgrade all to Pilot 2 lah. And then you have DJI Terra, which is the software used to process your data, your pictures, mostly all your pictures that you took from mapping or inspection, right? Terra allows you to reconstruct and process 2D pictures and 3D as well. And then there's the Flight Hub 2, which is the application, the software that DJI Dock uses, DJI Flight Hub 2. So Flight Hub 2 also is a platform, basically a cloud-based platform where, for example, let's say Philip fly Matrix 300, right, to do project, and then Abang Khairul dengan Ashraf nak tengok daripada office, tak ikut kan. So as long as Philip has the internet on his side and you guys ada internet on your side, you guys can tengok Philip buat operation through Flight Hub. Macam live streaming lah basically. Tak boleh control lah, boleh tengok je lah.
Dia tengok view lah,
View camera. And then there's thermal analysis too, which is a software that is used to analyze thermal images. That's it. Out of all of these four, of course, when you buy the drone, you get this. And then thermal analysis tool is free. Dua ni kena bayar. This tu kena bayar.
Yearly punya
Ada yearly, ada 6 bulan, 3 bulan, ada lifetime. I'm not sure how much for Flight Hawk 2, but I know Terra, the lifetime is 17,000.
A lifetime, 17,000. Okay, that.
1 year 11,000.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Tapi DJI thermal analysis, where do I get the software?
You can just Google.
Ah,
Just Google DJI thermal analysis tu, nanti dia akan keluar.
okay. Because macam when I got my mattress KT, my bag KT, then they will give me a 3 months
Terra.
Terra.
Tu Terra. 3 months tu Terra.
Yeah, and then after that, then they gave me a QR code or something to scan, and I can download. Then once it expires, and then I can purchase lah. But thermal analysis, I think download dari Google.
Daripada because it's free, so you just Google thermal analysis tool, nanti dia akan keluar dia punya topmost result, and then you just download, install.
Okay.
These two, I think they give this two for trial.
Yeah,
Flight Hawk 2 and Terra.
I think so. I think they gave me 2 cards or something.
Yeah. They give trial first, and let you get a taste. And then if you want more, buy lah. And then of course you have you have us lah as support lah to provide you guys with the training lah, right? Okay. Now we talk about the drone. The drone. UAV overview. So can anyone tell me what is UAV? What is UAV? Apa maksud apa nama panjang UAV?
Unmanned aerial vehicle.
Correct. So unmanned aerial vehicle. So unmanned aerial vehicle is a commonly used term for something like drone lah. But for drone kecil-kecil macam ni, the technical term is UAS, unmanned aerial system, because to call it a vehicle, tak ada siapa boleh duduk atas ni. Kucing naik pun tak terbang. So mostly we call it unmanned aerial system lah, okay, or drone. Unmanned aerial vehicle, if we want to be more accurate, is something macam drone besar yang if kita tengok US military pakai, Western military pakai, yang pakai itu baru UAV. So for UAV, it is basically a drone ataupun an aircraft type vehicle that is remotely controlled. Remotely controlled either through remote control biasa ataupun ada dia punya control room dia, ada monitor room dia. Either it flies manually or it flies through computer, automatic. Okay, so in this world, in our current age right now, there are a lot of different drones. Helicopter also sometimes has autonomous helicopter, no pilot at all. And then you also have fixed wing drones. This type of drone. Pernah nampak? Philip, have you seen this type of drone before?
Online, yes.
Online, yes. Sama. So this type of drone is very expensive. Okay. My previous company had this drone fixed wing that is around 100,000.
But this one is for cargo, right?
No. This one, the most usage I mostly see is for mapping.
Oh.
So the difference between you use this one for mapping compared to this one. If you use this one, you can fly the drone for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
But of course, if we see just the way it flies macam kapal terbang lah, you need to have a runway, kena ada runway, kena ada landing strip, and then the drone kena ada enough lift untuk nak naik. But so far DJI tak ada lagi. DJI haven't produced a fixed wing drone so far because they know not a lot of people can afford fixed wing, so they mostly focus on the multi-rotor. Okay, this is a multi-rotor. Okay, so what is a multi-rotor? A multi-rotor is a drone that has 3 or more rotors. 3 sekarang jarang, 3 rotor jarang. The most common is 4, 6, 8. A lot DJI products are 4, including Matrix 300, Mavic 3, Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3 Teman, all of it, most of it is 4. 6 and 8 mostly used in agriculture. Dulu DJI did have a 6 rotor drone for enterprise, which is called Matrix 600. Okay, but then tak ada. Matrix 600, if you're wondering, it's this tall, okay, but it's just basically skeleton drone, no cover like this. Just you can see all the tag from the top of the drone, and then just rotor and landing, and then landing gear. That's it. Camera also you have to attach.
Payload 25 kilo if I'm not mistaken kan?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Because Matrix, because back then DJI don't know their target market, so they just build manufactured drone for everyone, for every industry. So Matrix 600 was built to, you can have camera payload, you can have other payload as well, other type of payload as well. So they just buat lah. Now they know their market, they
Specify.
specify. So what is the specialty of multi-rotor? Okay, multi-rotor berbanding dengan fixed wing, where I mentioned just now, perlu runway and landing strip. This one, it can take off and then vertically practically anywhere, even in this room, even in a tight space. Just kena ada enough room lah, itu je lah. And it achieve all this movement by controlling rotor speed. Dia punya kelajuan motor dia control. Okay. Several key benefits of using multi-rotor is that paling senang kita nak kata dia easy to operate berbanding fixed wing. Fixed wing, if you fly a fixed wing drone, most likely orang yang beli tu the people who sell the drone to you, he will ask you to come attend training. For something like multi-rotor macam drone DJI ni kan, kita beli saja and then kita boleh explore sendiri. We can explore ourselves, right? I mean, some people like you guys join the training kan, just to gain the knowledge, to gain the certificate and to know more, right? But if some people there are some people yang maybe cannot afford, or maybe they just don't want to join the training, they can explore the drone they buy on their own. And because it's multi-rotor drone, senang saja nak terbang. Saya boleh kata lah, lepas 4 hari, Abang Gairul dengan Abang Syaf boleh fly ni. Ask Philip, how long they take you to be senang kan?
The first few days, I think. First few days boleh terbang lah, but all the features in there up to now I still don't know how to use it.
Itu common lah.
But kalau terbang maybe first 2-3 hari, 1 minggu.
Okay lah. Senang je nak fly. Okay. And then tadi I talk about there are the common configuration, which is 4 rotor, 6 rotor, 8 rotor. Okay, apa difference between this configuration? Mostly in terms of reliability. Okay, lagi banyak rotor dia, lagi stable dia. Okay. So macam 4 rotor ni, dia tak ada redundant motor. Maksudnya, if one motor rosak, dia akan terjatuh. And then for 6 rotor, if one motor stop working, dia boleh still terbang. For 8 rotor, dia boleh still working if 2 non-adjacent motor, walaupun 2 motor stop working. Tapi kena 2 motor yang bukan bersebelahan lah. Okay. So of course the more the rotor the better, but of course the more the rotor, the more higher the pricing lah. Like for example, even DJI punya agriculture punya drone pun sekarang diorang dah pakai 4 rotor je sekarang. Diorang dah buang, kalau boleh diorang nak elakkan 6 rotor tu. Maintenance one and then pricing also.
Because when I see DJI mostly pakai 4 rotors.
Now their drone, like the agriculture drone, their latest one, which is Agras Agras P40 or T40, not sure. That drone 4 rotor, ya, 4 heading. Each motor ada 2 propeller, satu kat atas, satu kat bawah. So basically ada 8 lah.
Basically.
Kalau atas tak juga, bawah tu
Sepatutnya lah.
Stable lagi stable lah.
Stable lah. Untuk, tapi itulah dia untuk carry
High payload.
40 kg
Oh.
payload.
Boleh pakai untuk kargo ke?
Technically, if you ganti the payload with budak, boleh angkat.
Bukan orang, macam because now the payload, for example, agriculture, the payload is for their pipes and all this, right? Tapi kalau we use that as 40 kilo, use that as a cargo drone for maybe equipment, 20 kilo equipment strap there to move around, boleh eh?
Boleh, but not far. Because orang kita tengok drone tu besar kan, we are like, wow, this drone is very big. But if we ask the people who selling there, we ask them how long can this drone fly? They will say 15 minutes.
Oh, 15 minit. Setengah jam dah sampai.
Sekejap ni.
Yeah. Upside, the good side, advantage is the battery recharge per minute 20 minit dah pulang balik.
Tapi for 50 minit,
15 minutes. Sebab dia not made for mapping, not made for photography, dia made untuk spray agriculture, dia made untuk spray racun atau spray fertilizer and that's it. Target dia nak mempercepatkan farmers untuk spray fertilizer atau racun, target dia. Buatlah dia R&D kan lah, dia buat macam one flight 15 hektar. Asalkan dia dapat one flight 50 hektar, okey lah, tu je lah bateri yang dia nak kan.
But you have multiple batteries juga kan?
Apa?
You can use for multiple batteries juga kan? Dia punya bateri pun sama detachable, right?
Bateri dia detachable, bateri dia bukan bateri macam di mana bateri dia bateri macam size bateri kereta macam tu.
Besar.
Tahu flash bateri, tahu cell bateri.
besar.
Big one.
Berat lah nak kan. Okay.
Okay lah, I see with inspection.
Easy lah.
Cik.
Betul. No, I can say if you're not from agriculture background, if you do that kind of job, it will culture shock you one. Stick to what you guys do. Okay, so we learn about the agriculture, our drone kita ni apa semua. But how does it fly kan? Sebab dia 4 rotor macam ni kan. Macam mana dia terbang? So kalau kita tengok kat sini gambar ni, if we look here, ada sini M1, M2, M3, M4. So if we look, pasal nak yang M1 dan M3, yang dia warna biru, dia pusing clockwise, anti-clockwise. M2, M4 dia pusing clockwise. So kalau kita tengok dia mesti berserang-seri, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise balik. Sama dengan 6 lah, 6 pun sama. M1 dia anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise. Dia mesti counter with each other. Dia mesti berserang-seri with each other. Because if let's say M1 dengan M2 dua-dua counterclockwise, okay, then drone tu akan pusing counterclockwise saja. So dia buat macam ni, dia buat berserang-seri sini untuk counter balik rotation force tu. Lagi satu lupa nak cakap, forgot to say. At the end of the day, later at the end of the day, we will give the slides lah. We will give the slide, so boleh buat study, and then kita also bagi the spot question for your exam. Okay, so you guys can study earlier. Okay. So back to kita punya topik flight principle ni. Dia pusing counterclockwise and clockwise untuk nak counter the rotation force. Okay, and then of the movement, as I mentioned, it achieve the movement by adjusting rotational speed. Maknanya rotational speed motor ni berbeza-beza setiap kali dia terbang, ascending, descending, okay, clockwise, counterclockwise, forward, backward, sideways, left and right. Okay. Okay, contoh paling biasa kita pakai is move forward. For example, Philip, you perasan tak the drone if they go forward, dia macam ni.
If you use the sport mode,
No,
the normal one.
just move forward.
Yeah.
Dia akan macam macam ni kan. That's because when it move forward, when you push your remote control to make the drone go forward, the motor will basically dia punya otak drone ni, the flight controller of the drone will basically tell the motor to, okay, both of you at the back strong rotate faster, you both at the front rotate slower. So bila yang belakang lagi kuat daripada yang depan, yang depan akan ada lagi force untuk tolak depan. It's the same untuk backward lah. Kalau backward pun dia depan lagi.
Macam mana dia control dia? Straight, just straight.
Oh, that kan benda tu. Sebab macam ni lah, dia maintain apa? Dia maintain rotation ni. This thing is the one ingat, kalau kita ingat ni counterclockwise, ni clockwise. Benda tu yang maintainkan dia straight line. Kalau let's say dua-dua ni counterclockwise, then of course dia sambil dia pergi depan tu dia macam ni lah. Kiri lah. So this counter rotation force, dia punya bukan speed, dia punya pusing, arah pusingan motor dia tu yang buatkan dia stable. For ascending, 4 rotor pusing laju. For descending, 4 rotor pusing slow. Okay.
Biasanya yang buatkan dia naik tu sebab kipas kan.
Kipas tu laju, and then ada enough apa kita panggil lift untuk dia naik. Macam kapal terbang lah juga. Okay, Ahmad. Okay, next kita ke UAV system. So UAV system, we will mostly discuss about the system inside the drone. This one will be a bit technical. Okay, technical. So kalau anytime you guys tak faham atau macam confused, just angkat tangan tanya saja. Okay. Okay, so in the UAV system, there are 5 systems: flight control, propulsion, transmission, sensing, and positioning. So flight control is basically the brain of the drone, otak dia. Propulsion system pergerakan motor dia. Transmission is signal dia transmit. Sensing is dia punya obstacle sensor dia. Positioning is dia punya GPS system dia. Okay. So firstly kita go through the flight control system. So flight control system, as I mentioned, it is basically otak drone lah, the brain of the drone. So it analyzes and dia ambil input from a lot of different parts of the drone, such as motor, camera, GPS, compass, apa semua. Dia ambil apa semua tu, all this data, and then so that the drone is able to maintain position, maintain flight direction, and also execute command such as ambil gambar, ambil video, fly automatic, and then of course also bagi kita as tell us the pilot if there is any warning and ada obstacle dekat depan atau ada bateri dah low. Di situ lah flight control system ni yang buat semua tu. So flight control system comprises of these components. This component, there's the flight controller, and then it is powered up. Dia dihidupkan by the power management unit, which is also inside this drone. And flight controller also take input from the compass, GPS, IMU. Okay, we will go through this three. So firstly is the GPS or GNSS. GNSS is Global Navigation Satellite System. If lagi senang cakap GPS saja, sama saja. So GPS it provide the coordinate information for the drone. So this coordinate is where you get your home point. Tahu kan? Pernah tahu pasal drone punya home point tak? Tak pernah. So basically home point ni salah satu function key feature in DJI drone where lepas kita dah fly and if kita boleh tekan return to home button and then drone tu akan balik ke kita balik.
So kalau kita move dekat tempat lain,
Dia still akan balik ke tempat di mana dia.
Okay.
So tak apa, itu kita akan ajar lebih dalam lagi. Okay. Sebab basically coordinate ni yang buatkan drone tu stable and boleh hover in one place. Because drone waktu dulu and a lot of DIY punya drone. DIY kalau kita tengok drone yang pernah nampak, have you guys seen the drone racing atau FPV yang dia boleh buat flip atau semua. Those types of drone, they don't have GPS, which is why dia boleh pusing-pusing macam tu. Drone DJI ada GPS, which is why dia tak boleh terbalik macam tu. So because of the GPS, the drone is able to stable, maintain dia. So tu GPS lah. Next is compass. Compass is dia determine the direction of the drone lah, sama macam mana compass dalam phone kita ni determine kita punya, kita pakai untuk kiblat atau kita pakai untuk compass yang sama lah, macam ni juga. So compass is very important for the drone because if compass error, compass tu macam tengah tak betul, then drone takkan bagi kita terbang. So in that case, compass normally kita kena buat compass calibration. So for example, tak pernah nampak compass calibration kan? Philip, have you done compass calibration before? No. Have you seen people someone do it before? No. Exactly. Later we tunjuk lah. Next is IMU or Initial Measurement Unit. Okay. Initial measurement unit ni is the component that measure the drone flight status and attitude. Benda ni yang basically kalau saya nak simplify dia bagi drone tu dia bagi tahu kita drone tu punya keadaan dari segi drone tu tengah sengit ke kiri ke, sengit ke kanan ke, terbalik ke. Okay, because drone multi-rotor, if it wants to fly, it needs to be in this condition, macam upright macam ni. Dia tak boleh macam ni, dia tak boleh macam ni, dia tak boleh macam ni. Bila, okay, let's say kita terbang and then terlanggar, ada burung langgar, let's say burung tu besar, dia langgar, drone tu macam tu, then drone tu akan jatuh. Dia unlike kapal terbang biasa kalau ada something terlanggar ke apa, dia akan naik balik kan, dia akan cuba naik balik kan. Macam drone multi-rotor, once it is off balance macam ni, dia akan jatuh terus. Dia hilang balance dia. Dia tak boleh macam situ kan dia.
Tapi kalau ada burung tu dia akan bagi warning kan? Ada something yang hilang dekat dia?
Tak
ada.
Unless dia dapat detect. Tu dekat situ kita akan cakap pasal obstacle sensor. But now kita go through propulsion dulu, which is motor system. Motor system pula ada 3, actually 4 lah nak cakap. Kita boleh kata 4 lah. Ada 4 komponen lah. Ada motor, ESC, propeller, lagi satu bateri. Bateri tu kita anggap apa? Benda yang utama lah kan, sebab nak drone nak hidup kena ada bateri kan. So just ingat 4 lah, just remember 4 lah. Bateri, motor, ESC, propeller. So what are the rules for these three? Kita tahu bateri is to power up the drone. Okay, so apa the function of these three component? Firstly, motor. As we know, motor is semua benda yang bergerak perlu ada motor kan. Okay. Motosikal ada motor kan. So basically motor converts electrical energy into mechanical movement kan. So motor tu dia dapat electrical energy daripada bateri, okay, and then dia convertkan benda tu kepada mechanical movement which is applied through the propeller. Sekarang DJI drone, if you guys do you guys know brushless motor? Kau tahu tak konsep brushless motor? Tahu?
Ada brushless lah.
Dia tak ada brush.
Dia tak ada brush.
Dia brushless. Dia tak ada brush. Kan? So basically DJI drone they use brushless motor. I'm not sure lah if they use brush motor before this kan, but basically when they in the slide waktu dulu our previous slide they say the drone uses brushless motor. I'm not sure why they mentioned that, but I guess it's a selling point to some people, maybe. But basically the motor is used to gain lift, which is helped by the ESC. The ESC here, or electronic speed controller. Okay, electronic speed controller. If you recall earlier tadi I mentioned drone ni kan kalau nak contoh terbang ke depan kan, I mentioned yang belakang lagi kuat daripada yang depan kan, dia pusing lagi kuat kan. It is because of this ESC. ESC ni yang bagi tahu dekat motor ni, okay, go speed slow. ESC is the one that controlling the speed. Okay. And ESC is also the one that acts as a dynamic brake. For example, kalau kita ada emergency brake, ESC tu lah yang suruh motor tu, oh stop, cepat stop. Other than that, there's also the propellers. Of course, just now we talked about the motor. The propeller is the one that is provide the lift force for the drone. Okay, and propeller is the one component that is very senang patah, fragile lah, which is why when you beli drone ni rasanya dia bagi extra propeller. Your maybe treatment pun also they provide extra propeller. Ni plastik dia.
Oh.
Tak bagi extra 4, dia bagi extra 2 pair, 1 pair dia bagi.
Tapi tak apa, propeller is barang paling murah. Benda lain lah yang lagi you tanah patah atau rosak. Sorry, don't worry.
Next, so that was about the propeller, propulsion system lah. Next, the third is the communication link system. So communication link ni, if I want to explain, nanti takut you guys pening. So we let this video explain, and then later kita review.
The communication link system can be compared to the nervous system of a human. It transmits signals, receives the aircraft's feedback information, and sends out commands. The UAV communication link system is comprised of the following parts. Number 1, control communication link. The remote controller sends out a control signal which the aircraft receives. Number 2, image communication link. The aircraft sends back imaging information acquired by the payload. Number 3, data communication link. The aircraft sends out data to the remote controller, giving the pilot information about the aircraft's flight status and payload. In order to ensure normal function of the communication link system, please pay attention to the following points. The firmware version of the remote controller and the aircraft must be the same. To avoid communication errors, always make sure the firmware versions of the remote controller and the aircraft are updated to the same version. The antenna must be unfolded. If the antenna is not unfolded, the transmission effect and range may be affected. Do not point the antenna towards the multirotor. The top and bottom parts of the antenna feature the weakest signal. So try to keep the antenna and the aircraft parallel and point the antenna upwards while using the remote controller.
Okay. So, from the video, kita tahu ada 3 jenis communication. Control, image, data. Okay. Control is basically the signal that we send from our remote to our drone, such as ambil gambar, movement, and that kind of thing. That's control. Image is the image feedback yang kita dapat from our screen. And for you guys, I just noticed your remote is the okay. So same lah, ada screen. So your that is image communication lah, the one that you see on the screen. Okay, and then data communication link is the data you receive, such as battery status, drone status, distance, height, that kind of thing. So all of this, to get a good signal, you need to have, firstly, benda pertama kena ada keep firmware updated. So usually when you update the firmware of your drone, usually it will also update the remote controller as well. So normally dekat setting tu kita check if both firmware drone dengan firmware remote sama, compatible. But sometimes, but most of the time, if it's not the same, they will tell you it's not the same. Okay, number one. And then number two, antenna memainkan peranan. Okay, the placement of your antenna. For Philip, since yours is got antenna, right? Your remote controller has antenna, right? So you place it something along this line of position, right? Right? As you can see here, this position, because the antenna propagates from this side.
Okay.
Okay.
All this while I made it like.
Ramai orang buat macam tu. That one is mostly used for if the drone is up above you. Tapi untuk Abang gaduh dengan Abang Ashraf, ada antena internal. Satu advantage. One advantage this remote berbanding Philip punya remote, dia lagi murah lah and affordable lah kan, because Philip punya remote tu 4,000 lebih, this one 1,000 lebih kan.
Comes with the drone.
You can buy it. You can buy it.
Kalau aja 4,300. Disadvantage dia, antenna is internal, so tak boleh pergi jauh sangat.
Patutnya data plus tu kalau beli drone. Ini drone tu baru data plus.
Okay, alright, the communication. Okay, next is sensing system, which is the obstacle sensors lah. So obstacle sensor untuk drone, since you guys both using Mavic 3 kan, just to show you guys lah, sebab sensors that you both have is the same. Nak make sure sama. Boleh buka kan? Sama-sama. So the same for all Mavic 3 type drone, you have visual camera as sensor. Okay, visual camera is basically macam human eye. Dia sama macam kamera. Dia sama macam kamera saja, macam kamera yang kat sini. So kalau kamera tu nampak ada obstacle, if the camera sees an obstacle, then it will tell the drone. If it doesn't see, it won't tell the drone. Okay, that's visual camera. And then there's the infrared sensor. For infrared sensor, usually you can see it down here. Usually it helps with the reason why dia letak dekat bawah, it helps with landing lah. Because for example, as I mentioned, this benda ni kan just camera biasa kan, visual saja kan. If you, let's say you fly waktu malam ataupun you fly or you fly in a dark place, when you land, the camera dekat bawah ni dia tak boleh nampak sangat. So dia pakai infrared ni untuk bantu kamera ni. Itu je lah. But as I mentioned, the visual camera ni semua, in Mavic 3 ada 2 dekat depan, 2 dekat bawah, 2 dekat atas, and then 2 which encompasses both back, left and right. Which is why dia letak macam ni. Dia tak letak betul-betul belakang ni, dia letak dalam. That's why they put it like that. So this visual camera dia ada blind spot dia. Okay, like macam kereta kita ada blind spot kan. So what I can say, what I can advise, don't rely heavily on the sensor. Don't heavily rely on the sensor, because kalau if you guys can see from here, nampak tak macam ada foto? Itu dia nampak macam nak terbuka. That's because our trainee before this dia pernah crash benda ni kat bawah. Because he relied on the sensor, he thought the sensor will when the sensor detect the tree, it will make the drone stop automatically, macam like brake. But as we physics is not like that. Physics, if we put something stop, then if we physics, if we put an external force, dia okay. So now we come back to second part. Kita break 10 minutes just now. Right now, just now we have gone through about the enterprise ecosystem. Then we will go through all of the basics of drone lah kan. Overview, flight principle, dia punya sistem apa semua tu kan. Okay, now kita go through to the control stick mode, or basically dia punya control stick kan. So from what we introduced, kita ice breaking tadi, kita tahu Abang Ashraf dengan Abang Khairul tak pernah fly, jadi control tak tahu. Okay, what about Philip? What about you? How you fly for 2 months, 6 months?
Understanding is around 6 months, tapi I fly somewhere 3 months.
Okay, how good are you with the control stick?
Not very good, masih. I mean the basics, yes, how to elevate around and everything, but tak pro.
Tak nice lah. You know, I dah 2 tahun pun I cannot fly macam yang FPV yang fly racing. I also cannot that one. It's okay. So for the UAV control stick one, we have a video here. So kita I'll let the video explain to you how the movement works, and then kita recap balik. Okay.
The remote controller has 2 control sticks. Each stick can be moved up, down, left, and right, and will control the orientation of the aircraft accordingly. Just as cars in different countries sometimes have different steering wheel positions, drones can have different operation modes for the remote controller. Controllers can be set to mode 1, 2, and a custom mode. Mode 2 is the default mode for DJI drones. In Mode 2, moving the left stick up and down changes the aircraft's elevation. Moving the left stick left or right controls the rudder and rotation of the aircraft. Moving the right stick up and down changes the aircraft's forward and backward pitch. Moving the right stick left or right changes the aircraft's left and right pitch. In mode 1, moving the right stick up and down changes the aircraft's elevation, while moving it left and right changes the aircraft's left and right pitch. Moving the left stick up and down changes the aircraft's forward and backward pitch. Push the left stick left to rotate the aircraft counterclockwise, and push the stick right to rotate the aircraft clockwise. Please note that different operation modes correspond to different operations. Be sure to check the operation mode before operating a new drone. And remember that all DJI drones are set to mode 2 by default.
Okay, so tadi dalam video tu it explains about two modes, mode 1, mode 2 configuration. But here we will teach you mode 2 because every time you buy a DJI drone, by default it is mode 2 by default. Okay, if nak pakai mode 1, up to you lah, boleh lah, suka lah. Okay, but for beginners we will try to teach you guys mode 2 lah. Actually, there are 3 modes kalau tengok sini kan. Mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Dalam video tu tak mention mode 3. Mode 3 is actually quite a recent mode, baru jugalah mode 3 ni. So kita recap balik apa yang ada dekat mode 2 tadi. Mode 2, okay, ada left stick, right stick. Left stick, right stick. So left stick, if ni tolak ke atas, drone akan naik. Turun ke bawah, tolak ke bawah, drone akan turun. Move to the left or to the right, drone akan, if we move to the right, drone will rotate clockwise. Rotate only. To the left, rotate counterclockwise. Okay. Right stick, tolak ke atas, the drone will go forward. Push back, drone will go back. Right and left is right left. Okay, that is mode 2. Okay, so macam dalam video tu kata, always make sure masa nak fly tu, sebelum fly tu tengok remote control punya mode berapa. But if everyone in your department, in your team uses mode 2, then most of the time tak perlu check lah untuk. But let's say tiba-tiba suddenly ada seorang tu dia pakai mode lain, yang tu every time sebelum nak fly kena check balik. Okay, because so far mode 1 I never see, jarang lah orang pakai mode 1, tak pernah nampak. Tapi so far mode 3 there have been more and more mode 3 users sekarang. Because mode 3 is essentially yang ni ke right stick, yang ni ke left stick, dia terbalikkan terus. Dia ni pakai dekat right stick, yang ni pakai dekat left stick. Dia terbalikkan. Reason dia, when I talk to people yang pakai mode 3 ni, kenapa dia buat macam tu? Because kenapa dia pakai mode 3? Sebab rasa macam main game. Macam joystick main game, where left stick is used untuk bergerak, depan, belakang, kiri, kanan. Yang belah kanan ni untuk pandang kiri kanan, atas, bawah. Dia orang kata macam tu lah. But which bila visualize balik betul juga. Cumanya saya main game pun saya still pakai mode tu lah sebab
ada minimum, macam minimum height baru boleh.
tak ada.
So berapa dia
Boleh.
Masa dia take off pun kita terus
Boleh?
dia tak ada dead tu.
Oh tak ada. Landing saja dia akan stop kejap. Dia akan slow down lah, bukan stop, dia akan slow down. Okay, faham kan? Okay, next we talk about flight mode. So, tahu tak setiap DJI drone ada 3 flight mode? Tahu? Tak tahu? Philip, do you know what is flight mode?
Aku tahu dia ada yang the switch sana ada N, S and F.
Yeah.
Tapi I know S is like sport mode. The F and the N, I don't know what's the difference.
Yeah, okay. So, ni lah benda dia, F, N and S. Untuk drone SGS, you guys ada CNS.
Oh.
Okay. I will tell the difference lah. Okay, kita go through the paling senang sekali. N mode. N mode is normal. N. Okay. N normal. Okay, normal. So normal maknanya it will fly at normal speed, maximum pun 70 meter per second. Ini untuk match setia, tapi rasa untuk maybe 3 sama saja, kurang saja. And then all the obstacle avoidance will be switch on. Okay, unless unless if in the case of Mavic 2, but P2 nanti, Mavic 2 later. Okay, and then there is S. S is sport mode, right? As you see this now. So S, when sport mode ni, dia double kan, dia lajukan lagi drone tu, maximum speed akan lagi bertambah. But catch is obstacle sensor of horizontal, at least horizontal, maksudnya depan, kiri kanan, belakang. Yang tu yang akan off. So kalau bawa laju, anggap dia takkan macam kalau kita pakai ini, kalau pakai normal, walaupun kita laju dia akan tin 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 tin. Dia akan bagi tahu warning. Yang ni dia jam jalan. Sport mode, itu sport mode. Okay, pernah pakai sport mode? Macam mana rasanya? How does it feel?
Scary.
Scary.
No, I mean, if you look at the screen, it's not scary. When you look at your drone, it is going so fast. Pelahanan scary.
So someone yang tak biasa memang akan rasa scary.
Screen dengan speed dan dia punya visual tu
Latency.
lain tak ada punya.
Nah, pasal kalau kat screen kan when aku terbang tinggi, then kat screen you see it's normal speed lah, lahan sikit. Laju sikit lah, tapi when you look at the thing itself, then takut then okay, come back.
If connection between remote dengan drone kuat, then patutnya tak ada latency lah. Cumanya the reason why macam Philip, dia nampak drone tu tak laju. Dekat screen nampak tak laju, tapi drone tu nampak laju. The reason for that is because kamera tu dia control by gimbal. So bila drone tu bergerak macam mana pun, kamera gimbal tu still nampak stable. Which is why tengok tak ada apa-apa tak laju pun. Tapi sebenarnya drone tu laju je. Okay, and then ada F mode. Okay, function mode. So for F mode ni is actually only available for the enterprise because consumer level macam Mavic 3 Classic ni, dia tak ada F mode. Sebab F mode ni dia comprise of dua mode, T mode and A mode. T mode ni basically kalau T mode ni apa ni? Term dulu lah. T mode ni kalau nak if we want to be more modern, T mode is C dekat sini. Cinematic, tripod cinematic, lebih kurang lah. Basically dua-dua dia punya mode dia sama, which is dia fly dalam slow speed. Slow speed sahaja. Okay. So for drone SGS only ada C mode ataupun tripod mode ni sahaja. Okay. Tak ada attitude mode ni, A mode. So for Philip, you have F, right? So F tu ada the tripod and then also got attitude mode. Attitude mode is what we call as A mode, where if we switch this, if we use this mode, benda ni boleh tu, you can choose between which mode you want when you
Masuk F mode.
Masuk F mode.
Never use it.
By default, usually it's tripod mode. A mode ni, when you switch to A mode, biasa dia akan bagi warning dulu. Because why? Kalau kita tengok kat sini, the drone drift by itself. Because A mode is basically flying the drone without GPS. Tak ada GPS. So no home point, no hovering. Drone akan sentiasa bergerak.
I always thought that sport mode is the one that stopped the closest of the GPS.
No, sport mode still got GPS.
Okay, so salah info lah. Aku bagi you.
Sport mode still got GPS, but don't have sensor. Don't have sensor. A mode don't have GPS, don't have sensor.
Then what's the purpose?
Mostly untuk fly indoors.
Okay.
To fly indoors.
Yeah, so that GPS.
This aircraft ni built by itself, maksudnya dia bergerak sendiri.
Dia bergerak sendiri. Biasa ke kiri atau ke kanan mostly.
Oh,
Tapi S mode to fly indoors also I think I've ever flown indoor pakai M mode. Tapi always stop lah, there's a lot of obstacle kan, so it will not move freely.
Yeah.
Okay. A mode is mostly for indoor.
Because GPS drone only work nanti dekat flight safety kita akan talk about it. It only works outside.
Yeah.
If masuk bangunan indoor dia tak ada GPS.
oh.
So kalau dalam tangki tu kena pakai radar sebab GPS tak dapat.
Tangki tu drone masuk dalam tangki ke atau
Dalam tangki.
dalam tangki.
Sebab I ada tengok Ion Horizon buat. Dia lepaskan drone tu dekat airport. Dia pakai macam tu. Dalam tangki tu dia ada internal 40. Dan dia lama masuk kat situ. I tak tahu macam mana dia buat. Dia ada lubang. Dia lepaskan dekat airport. Ada lubang tu. Dia lepas kat sini. Dia tu masuk sana. Terus dia check. I tak tahu macam mana dia buat.
Macam mana dia
Dia macam dia ada home point dekat sini. Dia dah route dia tu macam dia dah ada.
Yang tu maybe dia dah set dari segi mission tu, dia dah set auto tu biasanya.
Dia lepas ni naik.
Benda tu
Dia baru dia control.
yang tu boleh set.
boleh set.
Tu boleh set.
Dia aircraft kan baik set maksudnya dia sendiri, tapi kita set pada sini tak ada sini.
Dia tak tahu dia gerak sendiri. Contoh
dia free gerak.
freely ke kiri atau ke kanan. So kalau contoh kita drone dari sini nak gerak sana kan. Kita gerak sini tapi dia akan
Oh, macam tu lah. Dia bukan straight. Oh.
So we recommend
Jarang pakai ekor ni
jarang. So we recommend only use normal ataupun tripod.
So kalau GPS tak ada, tak dapat dekat dalam indoor.
Tak ada pakai tak macam mana maksudnya?
Maknanya indoor. So orang tak boleh nak connect dengan GPS. So kena pakai manual je.
Kena pakai manual saja. Patutnya dalam kaki boleh rasanya.
Tapi I've used S mode dan N mode indoors. Kat dalam office, I flew N mode, tapi there's a bit of there's a quite susah model kan, because all the sensors is on, and then there's like obstacles everywhere. So kadang-kadang macam botol kat sini dia dah tak mau jalan dah. So that's
limit lah. Movement dia.
But tripod mode I tak pernah pakai. S mode tak pernah pakai. Kalau pakai S mode boleh fly indoor tapi laju lah. Bahaya.
Tapi try je pakai M sebab rasanya patut. Sebab saya pernah je pakai fly drone biasa dalam indoor, dia tak ada pula hilang GPS. Baik macam mana kata GPS dia tak ada.
Tapi masih boleh kontrol.
GPS tak ada tapi masih boleh kontrol.
Masih boleh kontrol, tak ada GPS.
Asalkan dekat normal lah, jangan switch ke M mode lah. Kalau M mode memang dia akan if you switch to M mode, it will drift lah. You just maintain M mode lah.
Even though tak ada angin pun he will drift. Not stable lah.
Okay.
Okay.
next we talk about drone camera and payload. So, camera and payload. For the examples kita pakai dekat sini is mostly camera that is used for the Matrix 300. But most of these type of payload is available lah in your drone. Wide camera, which is drone, maybe itu klasik, maybe itu ni ada pakai kamera, wide camera, and then ada zoom camera, ada thermal camera, ada lidar, ada mapping camera, ada laser range finder, dia ada macam-macam lah jenis. So kita go through one by one. Firstly, wide camera. So wide camera ni is the most common camera untuk semua jenis DJI drone. Tak kisah enterprise atau consumer, every drone DJI drone is equipped with a wide camera. So macam contoh Mavic 3 Classic ni wide camera. Okay. So wide camera is used for several different application lah. Mostly ambil gambar and mapping, surveying, traffic and public safety boleh pakai lah sebab dia kamera paling versatile lah. And most of the time wide camera ni it is always equipped with a mechanical shutter. Mechanical shutter ni it is used for especially untuk drone yang nak buat mapping, so dia boleh ambil gambar dengan laju. Itu je lah dia punya advantage dia. And normally wide camera is the one camera that has very high megapixel. Megapixel dia akan tinggi. Macam yang ini comparison lah, comparison between enterprise punya drone lah. Rasanya in terms of consumer punya drone, wide camera dia punya spec camera dia lagi tinggi. Sebab the enterprise punya drone dia spec kamera dia hanya sekadar mencukupi requirement untuk ambil gambar. Macam ini dia akan buat as nice as possible kamera tu sebab the camera is for nak post untuk customer yang ambil gambar pakai drone betul nak post cantik-cantik kan. Itulah, so dia buat kamera of these drones as nice as possible lah. Enterprise punya level dia akan buat more on technical term lah. Macam contoh tengok kat sini Mavic 3 thermal Philip ada 48 megapixel, mostly because nak untuk ambil gambar, nak bagi nampak clear untuk bila buat inspection. Macam itulah. Untuk macam Mavic 3 Enterprise yang which is mostly used for mapping, dia ada mechanical shutter. Kalau tengok mechanical shutter dia on par with dia punya predecessor dia, because nak ambil gambar, nak bagi laju ambil gambar. Itu wide camera lah. And then we have zoom camera. Zoom camera is Mavic 3 Classic tak ada, Mavic 3 yang ni ada, Mavic 3 thermal untuk Philip pun ada the zoom camera. So zoom camera is mostly used for inspection. Ini baru pakai untuk inspection and public safety. Mostly used for inspection because zoom ke that specific tempat lah. Okay, so zoom is dia vary sikit. Setiap drone berbeza lah dia punya zoom dia. Macam Philip punya, like Philip's Mavic 3 thermal, the zoom sampai 56 times zoom. Okay. Macam Matrix 300 yang besar tu, dia punya payload dia boleh sampai 200. Okay. This one boleh sampai 28. Mavic 3 Classic tak ada. Ada sampai 4 rasanya. Tak sure dah kan.
Sebab kadang-kadang kita terus area tu kena zoom.
Kalau ikutkan dulu drone dulu it doesn't have any zoom, so normally pilot will have to get close. Now because of the zoom, pilot don't need to get close anymore. Pilot can just stay a bit, give a few distance and then just zoom from there. And then we have thermal camera. Okay, thermal camera is available for drones that have the thermal payload lah, such as Philips Mavic 3 thermal lah. Have you explored the thermal camera?
Yeah.
Are you planning on using the thermal camera?
Yes. Mostly on burners, especially on burners. So distillation tower and burners are mostly to check on any uneven heat heating.
Understand? Yeah. So thermal, of course, it reveals detail yang kita tak boleh nampak lah kan. Before thermal is used for macam solar panel atau heat inspection, it is the thermal camera, it can also be used for fly waktu malam. Because we have a customer before, dia nak beli Mavic 3, dia nak beli drone yang ada thermal because dia nak pakai drone tu as security sebab dia orang they are from durian plantation. So waktu malam orang curi durian. So they want to use the thermal untuk record patrol. They also want to halau binatang lah sebab kadang ada gajah atau babi hutan. So they want to use the drone to halau lah waktu malam lah.
Pakai Mavic 3 lah, boleh ada speaker punya.
So other than fly waktu malam and use for security, it can also use for untuk search any cracks in buildings atau bomber boleh pakai untuk tengok search for api. Okay, it is used for a lot lah. And then next is the laser rangefinder. This thing is exclusively ada dekat matrix 30 dengan matrix 300 punya payload sahaja. Laser rangefinder ni is basically dia boleh estimate jarak between drone dengan some certain object. So far usage of this thing not a lot of people actually can think of anything yang boleh pakai benda ni. So far yang saya boleh pakai, yang saya boleh relate is just contoh, let's say nak buat inspection, saya boleh I use the laser rangefinder to estimate distance between the drone and the let's say tangki kan, let's say 5 meter. So if I think 5 meter boleh dekat lagi, nak dekat lagi. Itu je lah, that's the one I can think of lah. Okay, that is the rangefinder. Okay, so far ada question? Ke payload dulu macam payload.
Please, saya nak tahu kamera dengan MT yang lain, dia boleh buka tak yang
Tak boleh.
tak?
Drone baru. That is where matrix 300 is the advantage matrix 300 contoh. If I matrix 300, dia rasa I don't want wide camera, I want thermal camera. Ada thermal camera, beli kamera sahaja, tak perlu beli drone baru.
But the camera is more expensive.
But the camera is more expensive. Choose lah, choose your.
Tapi mana?
Sebab thermal tu banyak common use lah.
Maybe boleh try tak company Mavic 3 thermal.
M3T
M3T macam Philipnya.
thermal tu
Iklan kan? Zoom pun pakai.
Mavic 3 thermal tu ada zoom,
Ada.
thermal ada.
Salah. Dia lebih salah.
dia buat untuk latih kat confuse. Latih fly.
Punya space tu lah dia. A lot of company before they buy the enterprise drone, diorang akan beli something yang murah, and then dia orang pakai tu untuk staff practice dulu, familiar dulu. Even though technically kalau beli something macam Mavic 3 Classic atau Mini 3 tu application dia pakai berbeza.
Dia price dia banyak.
Ya, contoh Mavic 3 Classic ni dalam ni Flymo kan, so dalam 8,000. Mavic 3 thermal tu 21. 24. Oh.
Dunia ni
3 kali ganda harga mahal. pernah so far tak pernah lagi nampak orang beli drone enterprise sebagai saja ada duit lebih. Not yet lah.
Mostly is for commercial.
Mostly company bayar kan. Mostly company beli. Tak pernah so far not yet lah orang. I don't know what to do with my money. Okay, next we just talk about the camera. Now we talk about the drone. Okay, as we can see here, Mavic 2 Enterprise. So specifically in this topic, we will talk about the Mavic 2 Enterprise. Why? Number one is because they will ask Mavic 2 Enterprise questions in the exam. So even though this drone no longer, ada lagi, just tak dijual dah. Some people still use it, but dia dah tak dipakai sekarang. Certain company Mavic 2 Enterprise ni dia pakai untuk dia punya apa? Demo cikai dia dah tak dipandang sangat lah. But we go through this thing because one is in the exam again, and then another thing is because Mavic 2 Enterprise is the one that kickstart and yang buat enterprise famous. Technically, if you remember awal-awal tadi first slide tadi, I said Matrix 200 yang buatkan enterprise start DJI buat start the sub-brand enterprise. Tapi M200 tu technically is a failed product. Ada bug, flight tak betul apa semua. So Mavic 2 Enterprise ni yang buatkan nama enterprise tu famous. Okay, so bear in mind, what we are going to talk about here is mostly information that is based on 2019. Okay, so back in 2019, at that time, Mavic 2 Enterprise ni is considered the world's most powerful drone lah. Walaupun dia the smallest and most powerful drone, because the drone lebih kurang this type of size at that time 2019, and then boleh buat macam-macam application, is considered satu benda yang inovatif lah. Because before this, drone yang pakai untuk thermal inspection tu, thermal inspection, mapping semua besar-besar, drone besar-besar. So for the Mavic 2 to do this kind of thing, orang macam wow at that time lah. But now, as we know, dah ada yang lagi elok lah kan. So kalau kita tengok macam features dia dekat sini, at that time, okay, dynamic zoom. Dulu DJI punya drone tak ada zoom. Phantom 4 apa semua tak ada zoom. So bila dia introduce the dynamic zoom, orang macam ada zoom. But now as we tapi zoom dia sampai 4 dia, 4 times zoom. But now we see Mavic 3 56 and Mavic 3 300 200 sampai 200 times zoom. And then it is also the first drone to introduce omnidirectional obstacle sensing, meaning dia punya obstacle sensor dia semua arah ada. But then omnidirectional sensing ni is now a standard for enterprise drone. Even sekarang Mavic 3 yang untuk consumer pun omnidirectional juga. And then it has things like GPS and timestamp, essence, and also dia also provide macam modular accessories, certain accessories which we will get into lah. So first, when we talk about the omnidirectional, for Mavic 3 and Mavic 2 Enterprise, dia ada sensor dekat depan, bawah. Unlike the Mavic 3 kalau kita tengok tadi saya mention dia yang belakang ni dia termasuk sekali kiri kanan kan. Okay, Mavic 2 pula dia ada dua dekat belakang, satu dekat kiri, satu dekat kanan. Macam tu lah. And then macam ni Mavic 3 atas ada dua, Tapi Mavic 2 Enterprise tak ada. Mavic 2 Enterprise atas dia infrared. Infrared, dia pakai infrared. Tu je lah beza between Mavic 2 dengan Mavic 3. Selain daripada tu, Mavic 2 Enterprise also ada ni APAS, Advanced Pilot Assistance System. This is the technology where sekarang Philips punya drone boleh buat the brake ataupun avoid. Dia based on this technology. This Mavic 2 Enterprise yang start lah dulu benda ni. Dia yang startkan dulu benda ni. And then macam kita tengok sini, OcuSync 2.0 ni dia punya transmission between remote dengan drone dia. Signal transmission yang dia pakai yang kita tengok. At that time kira kuat lah sebab dia pakai frequency band macam internet between 2.4 ataupun 5.8. Tapi sekarang Mavic 3 Enterprise semua dah pakai 3.0, which is more stable and better. Lagi jauh dia pakai. But in Malaysia, kena ingat, in Malaysia 8 km sahaja maximum range. Malaysia is what about Brunei? What's the maximum range?
Brunei now we have no maximum range that is regulated by the government.
Oh, so boleh can fly up to the 15 km mark lah.
Yeah, but then we have zones lah, green, yellow and red zone lah.
Oh,
So we cannot fly, I mean, green zone basically you can fly anytime anywhere.
okay.
Yellow zone is unit permit. Red zone is strictly no drone boleh masuk.
Even if you try to fly.
Special circumstances kalau mostly macam military areas then that is considered as red zone, and then Istana also. So
Susah nak dapat nak fly still.
yellow zone, oil and gas area, yes, yellow zone.
Understand. Ya, kat in Malaysia tak ada benda green zone, yellow zone tak ada. Malaysia no fly zone tak ada. No fly zone sahaja.
No fly zone.
Airport area tak boleh.
Airport tak ada fly. Tadi I mention about GPS and timestamp. Ni another feature yang dia introduce to enterprise drone. Sekarang enterprise drone semua dah standardized ada benda ni, where every time ambil gambar the drone gambar tu akan contain information such as the tarikh, time tu standard, yang ni GPS coordinate. Dan maybe the enterprise startkan benda ni, and then enterprise drone lain semua standardized ada benda ni semua. So bila ambil gambar and buat mapping, dia akan reference dengan benda ni lah. Dia akan reference based on the GPS.
Bagi dia setting off ke timing
So
saja.
boleh je.
Boleh.
Boleh juga. So
Yang biasa lah.
benda tu dekat setting saja. And then there is also the DJI Essence, where benda ni dia macam ADSB receiver. ADSB receiver ni is basically something a receiver where it can detect kapal terbang berdekatan. So for this one, every drone, every enterprise drone got it, where they can detect aircraft or helicopter that is nearby up to 40 kilometers. 40. So technically, later when we fly here at Area 57, we can detect any aircraft from Subang Airport. So maybe when you fly your Mavic 3 thermal, you can. Are you near airport or
Enggak, saya jauh.
jauh? Okay lah, should be safe lah. But this thing is very useful lah, because in 2 months ago, I was doing mapping Subang Airport area. Okay. And then we because when you're doing mapping, drone memang jauh tau. Drone is more than 500 meters away. More than 500 meters away, jauh. So you have to put your camera, you have to put the remote atas kereta. Because if diletak dekat level sama dengan kita akan hilang connection. So kita kena letak atas kereta so that signal tu sampai. Okay. So time tu sebab dekat dengan Subang Airport, tentu tengah tunggu sebab mapping you cannot do anything other than wait for the drone to finish the key picture.
Autopilot.
Sebab dia autopilot. Dia autopilot. So you only have to execute and then you have to wait. And then while I was waiting tu, tiba-tiba dia bunyi kan. I thought mana ada obstacle atas kan atau udara yang macam mana ada obstacle. Tengok pada remote, drone sini in the map is the map. Drone sini, kau terbang dekat sini. Lepas tu drone is going here. Going here, kapal terbang ke sini. So pasal lah tengok tu. Tapi bila tengok dia kapal terbang tu tinggi lagi. So tak ada apa-apa pun. So dia boleh detect. Dia boleh detect.
400 meter tu maksudnya on the way aircraft nak melintasi cross dia lah.
Any aircraft within 40 km radius dia lah. But as far as I know, it is only a receiver, so it cannot transmit signal to aircraft. So aircraft tak dapat detect.
Itu orang udara tu kan kita bebas lah.
We talk about ruang udara, ada dia punya different law.
Even area airport tu still boleh fly.
Tak boleh fly.
Yang tu
Cross meeting.
bukan area.
Itu luar area airport, dekat dengan airport ada beza.
Ruang udara tu lah
Okay. Selain daripada tu, selain dia punya groundbreaking features dia, it is also the first drone to introduce where selain daripada normal camera, also ada sekali dengan thermal camera. Sebab sebelum ni DJI drone mesti normal camera atau thermal camera saja. Tak boleh exist dua. So dia yang first start, which is where dia punya Mavic 3 thermal ada dapat inspiration lah untuk ada double camera. So dia punya thermal dia technically if I'm honest, thermal camera dekat drone ni tak berapa hebat lah. Kalau nak dia sekadar cukup lah untuk buat kerja. Kalau nak suruh dia macam mesti dia boleh tembus, mesti kalau fly daripada luar boleh tembus nampak orang dalam. Tak boleh.
nampak luaran dia.
Nampak luaran saja. Okay, so with dia punya thermal camera dia normally when dia akan ada double bila Mavic 2 Enterprise yang ada dua kamera ni, ada dia punya normal camera and then infrared camera dia also akan provide MSX mode which is combine between the both images lah, infrared dengan visible. So dia akan nampak something macam ni lah. Kalau kita tengok infrared dia dulu memang tak hebat, it's not very good because it's just thermal imaging. Sekarang which is now in Mavic 3 pun dah standardized, dia dah terus ada benda ni where you can visualize all the other objects that is, and bukan sekadar thermal reading saja. Other than that, you can also change between color palettes. Have you changed? Yeah. So normally in inspection industry, inspection pakai macam mana? Pakai macam standard macam ni kan, macam kalau merah atau kalau panas dia warna kuning, kalau sejuk warna purple. Standard lah.
Mostly pakai hotspot lah.
Hotspot.
For us, we mostly pakai hotspot.
Understand? Okay. But just so you know, dia also ada apa ni? White spot atau black spot, where white is panas atau black spot, black tu yang panas. Itu mostly pakai waktu malam. Also ada macam yang rainbow yang apa? Kalau biasa tengok hospital banyak pakai, yang ada punya scanner yang ada biru, ada hijau, ada kuning, ada merah. Tu hospital, tapi tak tahulah ni yang ni rainbow ni industri mana pakai tak tahu lah. Other than that, you can also change the temperature range lah. Basically, it has 3 mode: auto gain mode, which is default, the default, and then got high gain mode and low gain mode. High gain mode dia narrowkan temperature range. Okay, for all drones dia akan narrowkan range between negative 10 to 150 degrees. Okay, and then low gain mode dia akan widekan between 0 degrees sampai 500 degrees. So benda ni boleh memainkan peranan dari segi temperature reading lah. Okay, which we will get into more because your thermal camera, your drone, on the spot you can do thermal reading. Boleh buat bacaan temperature. Klik je dekat screen remote tu, it will appear the temperature. But of course, the accuracy is ada plus minus dia lah. Yeah, so jangan terkejut lah if you use the thermal camera in this room right now. Measure badan Abang Ashraf 30 degrees. Dia ada dia punya faktor dia lah. Macam kita dekat sini, temperature reading dia affected by several factors lah. One is reflectivity of object. So kalau contoh kita nak baca reading between drone dengan maybe cermin, dia susah nak target. And then background radiation, macam contoh kalau kita dalam environment sejuk macam ni, kita punya reading tu akan not as accurate. Same goes with air temperature and humidity, right? And then distance also plays a huge part. The further distance you are, the less accurate it is. And then emissivity of object, which is the contoh macam ni kita tengok dia hitam putih kan. Lagi contoh, kalau kita jauh, kita akan nampak maybe cawan ni semua putih. Bila kita makin dekat, baru kita nampak yang bawah ni saja sebenarnya yang putih. Macam itulah. So what I can say, what you see in the remote controller is not as accurate. But what you can do is just take the picture first for ni untuk video lah kan. But also apply juga untuk in case beli Mavic 3. So ambil je gambar tu and then masukkan ke dalam thermal analysis tool punya software. Biasanya thermal analysis tool punya software tu it will show the true actual temperature. Yang ada dekat remote tu is not as accurate. So ambil je gambar and then masukkan dalam thermal analysis tool. Thermal analysis tool tu dia akan keluarkan the actual temperature reading.
Kalau ada foto tu boleh dekat software.
Tak, kena masukkan.
Kena masukkan.
And then so since do you think you're using the thermal reading, the thermal?
In the future, yes.
Yes.
On commercial ones.
So because you also have you will also have this feature which is temperature alert, where if you set, let's say you set the temperature alert at 30 degrees, so anything that is above 30 degrees it will give you an alert, an alarm.
Okay.
On your remote control, of course. Yeah. So you might be able to use this in your future operations. And then also it also has a region of interest feature where basically how to say, kalau dia narrowkan emissivity, the temperature, the thermal color. Basically, let's say this one, right? Let's say this one. This one is the original setting. But then if you increase the region of interest, let's say you excluded the sky, you can increase this setakat increase ni lah. Usually you will have to draw the region of interest, and then you increase how much you want to exclude the things that are not in the region that you want. And then basically output dia akan not put any thermal reading at that place. Dia akan specifically dekat region yang dia nak sahaja, yang the one that you want only. This gives you better thermal visual lah. Which brings us to isotherm, where it is much more it is much more categorized lah in terms of the thermal visual, because this one isotherm here in Mavic 2 got three settings that you can use: search people, search fire, or custom. Ada 3 saja: search people, search fire, customize. Where if for example if we put search people, then dia akan custom between 37 degrees to 41 degrees, and any temperature outside that range dia akan padam, and dia akan light up only temperature between that range saja. Search fire is also the same, and then custom kita set lah what's the temperature range, and then from there any temperature within that range dia akan light up. Any temperature outside will be tak ada. And then it also okay. Here is another thing about the Mavic 2. Mavic 3 teman, you beli berapa? 24,000. 24,000 pun you dapat extra battery, right? Extra battery. So actual price Mavic 3 teman is 21,000. Mavic 3 Enterprise is around 18,000. Okay. Mavic 2 Enterprise is 26,000. Lagi mahal daripada yang baru.
Tapi sekarang discontinue lah.
Sekarang discontinue. Okay. The reason why is because Mavic 2 Enterprise dia datang dengan benda tiga.
Yeah, with the speaker.
Speaker and spotlight. Okay. Mavic 3 Enterprise ada. Mavic 3 Enterprise ada benda.
Everything separate.
Everything separate. Tak, Mavic 3 Enterprise only has speaker and RTK sahaja. Tak ada, no beacon, no spotlight. Sebab Mavic 3 Enterprise dah ada beacon by default. Dia dah terus ada beacon. Tak apa. So all these 3 accessories ada kegunaan dia. For example, the one I can think of the most easiest is speaker, because hari tu masa COVID everyone kena duduk rumah kan. Ada satu video nampak polis pakai dengan speaker ni untuk suruh orang duduk rumah. Sebab tentu still ada certain orang yang masih di rumah kan. And then beacon is usually used for waktu malam, flight waktu malam. Memang nampak lah, memang silau lah dia punya kelip dia tu.
Tu nak switch on ke automatic?
You can switch on, you can switch off.
That's the features that I was still looking for macam mana.
They can't show you lah. Lucky we bought the Mavic 3 term. So later when you fly you just get used to it up.
Yeah.
And then there's also spotlight, which is fly waktu malam. Usually pakai untuk search and rescue. So macam-macam lah dia punya usage dia. Kalau kita tengok in terms of firefighting, bomber actually. Our firefighter adalah firefighter bomber tak ada. So firefighters ada dalam 3 unit kot benda ni. 3 unit. Polis jangan cakap, polis ada banyak. And then it can be used for search and rescue, right? It can also be used for cell tower, power line inspection. Other than that, oil and gas inspection and time ni lah at that time lah. But now dia dah obsolete, and dia dah boleh anggap obsolete because dia dah pave way for better drones. Mavic 3 Enterprise, Matrix 300, Matrix 30. So which is where kita talk about the new drones. So this is the Matrix 300. Okay. Kalau kita tengok, when you buy it, it comes the landing gear, drone, and then di tempat kita pasang kamera ni. Kamera ni tak ada, beli separate. Kalau nak beli satu package, be ready about 100,000 macam tu. Malaysia ringgit.
Yeah. About 30 Brunei.
So kalau tengok sini, ni bateri dia. Bateri dia ada dua belah, satu belah kiri, satu belah kanan. Dua. And kalau tengok sini, SDK port ni kat atas ni, maksudnya Matrix 300 ni can maximum of 3 payload. Boleh ada 3 payload. 2 dekat bawah, 1 dekat atas. Biasanya polis pernah nampak sekali lah polis biasa pakai atas ni speaker, 2 kat sini, 1 kamera zoom, 1 kamera thermal.
Jadi besar.
Besar. Kalau dah buka kipas pun besar ni lah. Tinggi je. Rasa esok kita boleh fly. Sebab for this drone, because you guys masuk inspection punya class, we will usually let our trainee fly this drone on the second day. Usually in the pilot training, the basic one, last day tu dah habis exam semua baru fly. For you guys, for the inspection class, terus boleh fly. Sebab supposedly on the first day you guys dah patut okay dah lah. Okay, and then ada Matrix 30, which is essentially adik Matrix 300. So the reason why they made this drone, because Matrix 300 tu orang complain, people complain too big, so nak carry around susah. Second, nak set upkan dia, nak set upkan dia lama, nak kena pasang kaki, nak kena pasang kamera, nak kena buka kipas kan, buka tangan buka kipas kan. So mostly people from the emergency punya side yang akan yang complain, orang kata too long. By that time orang kalau ada emergency ke apa dah lepas semua. So they built Matrix 30 where this drone keluar daripada kotak, angkat, buka kipas, dah. Buka tangan dah settle. 10 second deployment. Dia buat as fast as possible. Kalau tengok dia besar ni je. Rasa remote dia lagi besar daripada dia.
So lepas dia buka, dia pun dia punya tangan sikit tak salah.
Tak besar. Macam besar ni.
A bit bigger than Mavic 3.
A bit bigger. A bit bigger. But unlike the Matrix 300, this one dia datang sekali dengan kamera. Kamera dah siap ada. So, tapi functionality dia essentially the same as Matrix 300. Dia ada dia punya sensor, jangan cakap sensor ada banyak, ada beacon siap, kamera zoom pun sampai 200, the same as Matrix 300. Basically dia Matrix 300 but faster. Basically kalau kita nak simplify kan. And then of course you have Mavic 3 Enterprise, right? So Mavic 3 Enterprise, bentuk dia, bateri semua sama macam Mavic 3 yang biasa, sama saja. Bezanya kalau kita tengok Mavic 3 Enterprise ada SDK port kat atas untuk masukkan speaker, ataupun RTK, and then ada beacon. Itu sajalah beza dia, Mavic 3 Enterprise dengan Mavic 3 biasa. So here is the comparison between the three drones. Kalau flight time dia punya how long dia boleh fly. So kalau kita tengok technically Matrix 300 can fly the longest, but that is if tak ada payload. Ada payload dia akan makan bateri. Maximum payload which is 31 minit saja. But For Mavic 3 Enterprise and Manchester City, kita boleh tengok siapa yang automatic pemenang sebenarnya. Mavic 3 Enterprise is the most efficient one out of all. And Mavic 3 Enterprise punya battery compatible dengan semua Mavic 3 punya produk. So let's say SGS beli Mavic 3 thermal, bateri yang ada dekat sini semua boleh pakai. Sebab Mavic 3 thermal tu dia bagi satu bateri saja. Bagi satu bateri saja kan.
Remote
One battery with one extra battery. I think I bought the package punya tu.
Oh, understand. Apa dia? Nak tanya?
tapi bateri dia lagi boleh masuk kan. Yang kita remote tu
remote
jadi lah bateri.
bateri dia. Okay. Next we talk about flight time. Tadi cakap flight time 45 minit lah, apa 15 minit semua. Philip, you seen this before? This line?
Yeah.
Line, yeah. Okay. Ramai orang ingat bukan, itu satu juga. Itu satu. That is why. Ramai orang ingat benda ni is percentage bateri kita. Bukan, dia bukan percentage bateri. But we talk about the first point tadi, Abang Kaido kata ramai orang ingat, dekat beli kata 45 minit bateri, so fly 45 minit. Memang tak boleh. 45 minit tu maknanya sampai dia kosong. Of course, so kalau kita plus minus sikit dalam 20%, 30% situ, then around
30 minutes.
35 minutes. 35 minutes itulah kan. Okay. Now we talk about this one. As I mentioned, it is not percentage battery. It is the amount of time your battery have before it will come back to you. Okay. So macam kita tengok kat sini 30 minit kan. Okay. So let's say kita drone tu kita fly dekat kita je within 100 meter radius, 50 meter je tu. Then maknanya 30 minit ni dia akan turun. Dia akan take time dia punya turunnya. So. Tapi let's say kita fly sampai ke 400, 500. 30 minit tu dia akan turun laju-laju. Sebab the battery akan bagi tahu drone up sampai sini saja. Nak simpan bateri sikit untuk balik. So this is but this thing subjective lah. It depends on your how fast the manner of how you use your drone, such as the speed, how you maneuver. Third, weather. Kalau ada angin yang kuat, it can decrease this significantly. Pernah hari tu yang same area same incident yang kau terbang tu kan. Time tu musim hujan. So angin kuat. Time tu tak hujan tapi angin kuat. There was strong wind. Masa flight, it was 22 minutes left. Kat sini 22 minutes. And then remote beritahu high wind velocity, strong wind lah kan. Remote beritahu. Tengok dekat sini 9 minit. Dia terus ke 9 minit. It preserve another 22 tolak 9.
12
Dia preserve 12 minutes tu untuk balik. Yeah. So that is flight time lah. Nanti when you fly nanti baru nampak. Okay, are there any questions so far? Ada? Okay. So sekarang pukul 12.10. Kita rehat 5 minit and then kita go through this and then kita boleh habislah kita punya session for today. So kita 12.10 12.20 kita ni balik lah. So nak pergi tandas dulu atau boleh pergi tandas dulu? Okay. So this is basic principles of flight safety. So this topic mostly talk about safety lah, how to fly, hazard, and then also awareness bila fly drone lah. Okay. Firstly, these are the things that you need to be prioritize lah basically. First, number one, follow local regulation. Yang ni regulation nanti kita akan go through last sekali. Okay. And then second, don't fly above sebarang orang ataupun vehicle, binatang pun kalau boleh naik. And then don't fly or interfere any place that has manned aircraft such as airport, military base, that kind of thing. And then as someone who is new, kalau baru fly, make sure tangan sentiasa dekat control stick. Okay. In case something happen, at least tangan dah ada dekat sini. Basically, kalau selalu tak kat sini pun, at least tangan remote kena sentiasa ada dekat tangan. Don't do like macam I did, macam letak tu janganlah. Tu kalau dah biasa fly, dah bertahun fly, dah tahu ni boleh dah buat. Tapi kalau baru fly, okay. And then another thing, this thing a lot of people tend to forget. Take off with a strong GPS signal, because if you have a strong GPS signal, only then the drone will have a home point. Okay, you will need to use a home point. You will need to have a home point so that bila bateri dah kurang ataupun you finish your mission, you want the drone to come back to you. You press the home point, then the drone will come back to you. A lot of people, they say, diorang selalu datang, diorang selalu complain. They say, home point ada, how come the drone not come back to me? That's because most likely before ada home point tu, dia dah fly. So time dia fly tu, dekat sana tu yang dia set home point. So bila dia tekan return to home, dia tu tak balik kat sana. Dia tu tak balik dekat dia. Before flight.
Before take off
So maksudnya bila switch on tu,
terus set.
biar drone tu warm up dulu. Biasa dia akan ada home point, dia akan bagi tahu bila dah ada home point.
Home point set.
Dia akan bagi tahu home point set. Dia akan bagi tahu.
Tapi the home point set tu automatic ke? You need
Automatic.
to press the home point ni?
Automatic.
Okay, automatic.
Macam itulah. Okay. Itu some of the things yang important lah we need to look at. Okay. Then now in terms of safety and awareness and hazard, there are few things that we need to look at. Firstly is the environment, the place that we are flying at. A few things concerning environment. There are three different situations lah. Number one is weather. Okay, the weather condition. It is one of three primary risks to flight safety. Number one, weather condition. Number two is interference. Number three is obstacle. So kita go through weather first. Inside weather, there are few conditions yang kita kena take into account lah. Number one is wind. As I mentioned just now, wind can affect the flight time of your drone. Macam I told the story about the flight time tu kan. Daripada 22 minit, dia boleh kurangkan flight time sampai ke 9 minit sahaja because of strong wind. Okay. Other than that, it can also affect stability. This one for Mavic 3 punya size, it can affect dari segi mesin lah. Drone tu kalau kuat angin pun dia akan macam dia akan macam dia tak ada sampai macam angin kuat sampai macam dia tak ada sampai macam tu lah. But if you are doing inspection, you are doing inspection and then you are moving between one part to another part of the object, you will need to have a safe distance lah sikit between. Let's say this is the object, you are doing inspection from here, then you want to do on that side. So maybe give some space a bit, right? Because takut Kalau biar dekat je and then angin tengah kuat ke apa, kalau dia terlanggar, habis. Which is why there are a few do's and don'ts lah sikit dekat sini. If we look at here, the standard is do not fly if the wind speed is more than 10 meter per second. Actually, the wind speed you can look up at the remote control. Dia akan bagi tahu WS wind speed. Dia akan bagi tahu berapa kelajuan wind speed tu. Then from there you can make a judgement lah whether nak fly ke tak fly.
Meter per second to knots berapa tu?
Knots. I'm not sure. You can try it, look it up. Other than that, do not fly the drone. Lawan arus angin. Because that will reduce battery punya apa? Bukan lifespan, flight time tu. Sebab takut bila dia lawan angin, kan tadi apa yang saya cerita 22 meter, 22 minit to 6 minit kan. Takut macam tu lagi dia akan reduce lagi cepat, dia akan kurangkan lagi cepat and then dia akan landing. Other than that, avoid flying near building ataupun object. So to avoid any unpredictable wind lah, as I mentioned just now. And then of course be aware of your drone status when you fly dekat tinggi-tinggi. Biasanya if there is very strong wind, the remote will tell you high wind velocity. The remote will tell you this. Okay, this is the resistance lah, the drone resistant towards wind. For yang ni kita tak menang because we don't have Mavic 3. For you guys, since you guys have Mavic 3, it's the same just but semua sama size kan. So Mavic 3 can withstand up to 12 meter per second of wind, which is at least 10 knots. And paling tinggi dekat ni 6. Buford scale 6, which is strong breeze. Strong breeze dalam dalam BM macam breeze angin yang kuat. Tapi ni high wind, angin kuat, high wind. Faham tak strong breeze kan? Yeah, you understand strong breeze. But basically boleh tahan sampai strong breeze. Bila dah high wind macam ni, dia kalau boleh landing, balik ke kita balik. Okay, that is wind. Now we talk about temperature. So temperature there is only two types of temperature lah. Low temperature, high temperature. In terms of low temperature, kita tak ada masalah ni. In fact, kita panas lately. What about Brunei? How's Brunei? Is it hot or
Same as Malaysia. Same as here. Tak ada beza.
Hujan?
Kurang lebih. I mean the condition is more or less the same for here and Brunei.
I thought is Borneo a bit different. In terms of maybe Borneo hujan lebih sikit ke?
Depends. Kalau monsoon, yes. Monsoon season then.
Do we have the same monsoon season?
Our monsoon season is towards the end of the year, macam September to February.
Sama lah.
Dan kurang lebih lah.
So in terms of low temperature, if you for some reason let's say you guys dapat job luar negara kan, dapat fall season punya negara kan, and then fly drone kan. So if you fly dekat kawasan yang sejuk, you have to switch on the drone and then let the drone hover, naikkan drone dalam 1 meter macam ni. Biar drone tu hover macam ni dalam 1 minit untuk dia warm upkan bateri. Because if you straight away fly, it will decrease the rotor power and it will shorten the battery life. Itu low temperature. Kalau high temperature, which is panas, usually around more than 50 degrees. If it's more than 50 degrees, nasib baik both our countries tak sampai. 40 degrees dah sampai, tapi jarang. If it's more than 50 degrees, then you have to make sure tak fly drone tinggi sangat. Okay, tak fly drone tinggi sangat, and then after fly, lepas fly, after you land the drone, cabut bateri, letak depan kipas atau depan aircon ke something that bagi dia sejuk. Sebab nak bagi bateri, kalau bagi bateri tu cool down secara natural, takut dia boleh rosak dia punya sel dia, sebab dia panas terlalu lama. Dia boleh kembung. Okay. When we talk about tadi, I talk about drone yang low temperature, kita biar bateri hover for 1 minute untuk dia heat. Now for battery Mavic 3, I think a lot of the new batteries dia ada this capability of auto heating, manual heating. Auto heating kita masukkan ke dalam drone, and then itulah ni. Manual heating kita tak install dalam kapal terbang, kita just switch on battery and dia akan heat secara biasa.
Okay.
So dia speed terus boleh naik lah.
Oh tak boleh. But kita dah switch on sini, dia bagi dalam seminit 2 minit, bagi dia panas, bagi dia warm up. Okay, tutup balik. Lepas tu masuk dalam drone, baru switch on balik. Jangan
Tapi ada heat up lah.
But you won't feel dia panas lah, tak rasa dia panas lah.
Tapi warm up lah kan.
Nak warm up dia yang 1 meter.
Tak payah lah.
Tak payah.
Tapi nak lagi, tapi leceh lah, nak kena switch on, switch off, switch on balik. So better you do the auto heating, which is masukkan terus, switch on lah.
Macam tu.
Dekat Malaysia, bila je boleh pakai case ni? Maybe kalau dekat Pundasam. Genting Island maybe. Tapi hari tu kita orang fly kat Genting Island pun kita orang fly je.
Genting Island, I mean, what's the minimum temperature that we need to do heating?
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Minimum temperature at least minimum temperature is 20 degrees Celsius.
Then we need to do
Recommended 25. Recommended 25, seeloknya 25, minimum 20.
Okay lah, Genting yes. Genting yes.
Okay, while we don't have cold temperatures everywhere, we do have rain and humidity. Okay, either it's rain or it's too humid. So for rain, even though the drone enterprise DJI drone dia suka market macam water resistant, water resistant. Siap tunjuk video ni, kalau simbah air dia pindah lagi kan. Kalau boleh elak kan. Avoid have the drone kena air. Yes, while the drone has some resistance to water, but it's not waterproof. Dia bukan waterproof. Okay, so the reason why kita kalau boleh as soon as hujan, kita fly balik drone tu, atau we land it somewhere and then kita retrieve dia balik. The reason for this is because we want to protect our camera, lens, and our motor. Protect dua ni. Badan ni, the body ni kena banyak kali tak apa, because dia plastik saja. Other than that, in terms of humidity, if it's possible, if we are not using our drone, keep it inside the bag, or in your case, the hard case. Because and of course kalau ada silica gel, provide the silica gel. Because boleh ada case where fungus boleh tumbuh dekat lens. Ada case. Other than that, silica gel also act as nak keringkan kalau ada residu air lah daripada motor kan, daripada hujan. But most of the time, if you are not using your drone, keep inside. unless kalau ada macam ada meeting where boss nak tengok ke apa ke, then maybe you can show your boss lah kan, macam like what macam sekarang ni kan. Other than that, simpan kalau boleh. Second is interference. Okay, so interference ada banyak jenis interference. Interference ni, in other words, is benda yang boleh things is elements that can disrupt the signal between your remote and your drone. Okay, such as kurangkan signal, kurangkan range, disconnect between your remote and your drone, this kind of thing lah. So there are 3 different types of interference. Number 1 here, compass. So compass, if we go back all the way to the control system, flight control system punya ni, compass is one of the component in flight control system where it determines the direction of the drone. Okay, so compass, just like your normal compass ataupun compass from your phone here, dia sensitive and they are generally weak. So they are susceptible to interference bila berdekatan dengan benda elektronik, bila berdekatan dengan benda yang ada magnetical deposits lah, benda macam bangunan, benda macam konkrit, benda tu dia boleh senang interfere, dia kena interfere. So bila dia interfere, normally for example, bawah ni konkrit, contoh if I switch on the drone and I switch on the drone there and I want to take off from there, konkrit kat bawah tu, normally dia akan keluar compass interference, because the compass tu dia masa drone tu switch on, masa when the drone is switched on, the compass is also switched on, that is the concrete tu dia dah interfere dengan compass tu masa dia boot up. Okay, so what you need to do normally when you fly, because since you guys are flying dekat kawasan-kawasan yang berkonkrit kan, so every time you fly, I advise do compass calibration before you fly. Okay, macam mana tu?
Later we try.
This is compass calibration. Later in practical, each of you guys boleh cuba lah kan. But essentially compass calibration, macam okay, kalau buat compass calibration dekat phone, kita buat macam ni. This is phone. Okay, untuk drone, you rotate like this. If you see here, this dah elok dia buat Mavic 3 ni model. So rotate drone horizontally and then vertically. So 360 rotate. Vertically macam ni.
Oh, pakai tangan.
Pakai tangan.
Fikir auto. Bukan automatic.
Bukan. So pakai tangan. Macam mana nak kata? Kekerapan. How frequent you will have to calibrate the drone. Number 1, as I mentioned, if you are flying at tempat yang ada konkrit. Second, if you haven't fly your drone in 1 month. Third, if you have traveled more than 50 kilometers. If you have traveled more than 50 kilometers, then kena buat compass calibration. Next is this second tadi compass. This is second one, GNSS signal. Okay, so GNSS signal is your GPS lah. You remember. So GPS is, if you remember, I mentioned GPS dia tak boleh, it cannot work if it's indoors. Right? Dia boleh only outdoor macam kita kat sini. Strong GPS signal, outdoor kan, tak ada apa-apa nanti. Kalau in between building dia boleh with GPS signal. So so if you lost your GPS signal, for example, let's say fly dekat luar tadi, okay, ada GPS signal semua, and then kita fly masuk dalam. Sometimes when you go inside like that, you will lose your GPS signal, and then the drone might go into attitude mode.
Oh.
Tapi rasanya drone sekarang, enterprise punya drone sekarang tak ada benda tu. Rasanya if you go indoors, yes you will lose your GPS, but the drone tak pergi attitude mode. But just to be careful, tangan sentiasa dekat remote control. Kalau nak senang, kalau nak lagi careful, someone is inside lah. Tapi in your case, stand tu boleh masuk ke?
Ada boleh masuk. Tak masuk.
Ha?
Ada yang tak boleh masuk. Ada certain client dia tak boleh pijak dia punya dekat dalam internal floating roof lah. Sebab dia ada benda yang tak boleh. Sebab tu pakai drone.
Tapi yang internal floating roof, you guys are doing from above ke yang di
Okay, some client macam Chevron dia tak bagi pijak even kat atas. Okay, macam Petronas, Shell bagi. Sebab tu untuk Chevron pakai drone.
Tapi kalau ke atas tu kira external, right?
Itu internal.
I mean, it's because the floating roof is below. Jadi kau masuk dari atas
Daripada bawah. Daripada bawah.
Oh, dari dalam tu, the inside tu.
Naik.
But during, tapi kalau kau tu, if the floating roof is at the bottom, kalau kamu dari luar tu kira confined space juga kan?
Kau tak.
Tak kira.
Tak.
Pasal BSP kira confined space tu, that's why I'm a bit confused.
Tak.
So Chevron dengan tu Petronas kira tak bukan confined space lah. Because us, if the floating roof is at the bottom, kalau dari luar, BSP need to raise a confined space permit. That's why I. Okay. Terus tanya pasal inspection. Sorry.
Okay, and that was GPS punya interference lah. Then third is signal transmission between remote and drone. So this one is the most common one that most likely you guys akan encounter in your drone pilot when you are flying your drone. If you remember in the communication link, and then back in the Mavic 2 Enterprise punya slide ada cakap yang remote controller and drone operated in a frequency band like internet 2.4 or 5.8 GHz. So anything that uses almost the same frequency like Wi-Fi ataupun Bluetooth and other places such as telco tower ke apa, benda tu boleh disrupt boleh interfere with the signal. So you will find in your remote controller dia akan cakap weak signal ataupun signal interference. It will stay like that. So when something like that happen, if nampak if you see on the screen macam lag ke apa, that is normal. So it's not that the drone rosak ke apa, drone disconnect apa, benda tu biasa. Cumanya you have to be careful with your joystick because takut, let's say as I mentioned dia lag kan. So imagine if you are approaching something and then you dekat screen nampak jauh. In the screen you see is still far away, but in reality so you push forward. In reality dia dah dekat. So be careful lah guys. So things like if you're near substation, which I don't think you guys will be near this now, right? So if not substations like this, maybe something like in the area that since it's a concrete area, it can interfere in terms of obstacle, in terms of the signal. For example, if you fly your drone, if you are here, right, you fly your drone and then you make your drone belakang sini, it will lose the signal. Okay, because your remote tak dapat tembus drone kat belakang. So either if you want to do that, fly atas.
Which means kalau if you want to fly a drone, you can't be inside an office and then aircon begin flying.
Cannot. Cannot. That would be too easy.
Yes. Then, okay, that case, back to the matrix 30 yang having a hub and so you control from, let's say you control from an office using a laptop.
Dia punya antena dia dekat dock tu.
Dekat dock tu, that's the control center lah.
Yes.
So you just control the anything is from here to the dock pakai Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which is why dock tu you control is from inside the office. The antenna is outside. Okay, on to obstacles, which is a prominent problem when you fly a drone. So obstacles is anything lah. Dia bukan saja benda yang boleh disruptkan compass ke GPS ke apa, but dia also benda yang boleh crashkan drone kita, kan? Pokok, bukit, orang, and kereta. Even animals also can be counted as obstacle. So be sure to always be aware and always take note if every time your sensors tell something. And kalau sensor contoh kalau fly dekat udara, tiba-tiba sensor macam bunyi ada mana adalah benda tu. Kena cari je. Kena be careful lah basically. And just like here, dia kata kat sini, sensors boleh detect mostly all the obstacle macam kat sini kan. Ni dia boleh detect lah. Tapi things like water, glass, wires, susah dia nak tangkap benda tu. So kena be careful lah. Other than that, kalau tengok sini, RTH, altitude should be higher than the obstacle. RTH is return to home lah, function yang dia datang balik kat kita. So this one I will explain more dekat practical nanti. But essentially, kalau kita tengok diagram ni, if drone nak balik ke kita, make sure dia naik atas lagi daripada obstacle yang paling tinggi dekat situ. Okay. That is essentially like that lah. For obstacle, in terms of animal, for drone size macam Mavic 3 ni, kena be careful around burung gagak, crows and eagle. Sebab burung gagak, for crows, they like to ganggu, kacau. For eagle, they serang terus. Tapi normally for eagle kita boleh nampak lah, sebab dia daripada atas dia akan pusing dulu. But for burung gagak, unpredictable lah. Tapi normally burung gagak dia tak kacau, kelang pun tak kacau, cuma kena be careful lah. Macam nanti kita fly Area 57 ada helang. So every time ada helang, normally kita orang akan suruh fly dekat sikit. Pernah experience?
Hopefully not.
Safe. We have one of my colleague. He has eagle dah pernah Sabah enam kali.
Dia sama waktu dia tersingit.
Dia biasa macam tu lah. Biasa ada dua, either gelang tu sambar dia ambil, ataupun dia sambar bagi benda tu jatuh je.
Dia tersingit.
Sebab drone multi-rotor ni, as soon as dia sengit sini, dia dah tak boleh recover lah, dia akan terus jatuh. Okay, on to our last topic, last section, drone legislation in Malaysia. If you know Brunei, kita boleh compare lah between our two countries. So, maximum take-off weight in Malaysia is 20 kg, which means the drone boleh carry 20 kg maximum. Lebih daripada tu kena register dengan authority or Brunei.
Take off weight, we actually altitude, weight and distance we are following
US.
No, I think we are following Malaysia. Yeah, but we mostly we are covering for zones lah. That's the difference lah.
Oh.
But the rest we have no flight distance. weight, take off weight, because the thing is we need to register, doesn't matter if it is 20 kg or less. We have to register in two parts, which is AITI, the Technical Authority di Brunei, and also DCA, which is Aviation Authority. So doesn't matter, we need to get an endorsement from them, even if it's a small one or a big one.
Understand.
Yeah.
So in Malaysia 20 kg. Okay. Beza lah, kita kira lenient lah towards our maximum take-off weight, because in other countries macam US is 250 gram. 250 gram. Kalau lebih pada tu kena register dengan dia orang punya authority diorang. Maximum flight altitude is 120 meter, pun considerably okay lah, but there are other countries yang lebih tinggi lah. Vietnam 176, Jepun 60 meters. Kita 120 meters, and then range of flight is within line of sight, our line of sight. Okay. No fly zone. In terms of DJI, dia orang dah program their drones to not be able to fly in airport automatically. Tak boleh fly dekat airport. But diorang tak highlight government building, macam Accreditation, KLCC, yang benda ni semua kita kena secara, we have to manually tahu don't fly. Like that lah. And then safe distance, at least 50 meters from buildings, vehicles and people that are not involved with our operation. So for example, kita dengan tim kita boleh nak dekat-dekat dengan drone. Dengan kereta yang kita bawa pun nak dekat-dekat boleh. Tapi and then building kan, dari segi ataupun tank, and the tank tu pun nak dekat-dekat boleh, tapi benda yang tak berkenaan kalau boleh 50 meters at least. Now this thing is limited to everyone, limited to unlimited, semua orang boleh pakai lah, whether it's for recreation ataupun for work. But in other times, you will have to, especially if you want to use your drone for mapping, you will have to lari sikit daripada benda ni. For example, mapping, if you fly at 120 susah. Either you fly above or you fly lower, but most of the time it's above, and then within line of sight, which is lagi susah. Mapping usually memang jauh punya. So you have to lari sikit daripada benda ni. So how you do this is you need to have permit. Dekat Brunei ada kan benda ni.
So let's just say, back to yang tadi punya slide. Let's just say you are buying this one is less than 20 kilo, right? And then your flight altitude is just for photography, let's just say lah. You won't go up 120 meters. So which means that you don't need to register anything. Because in Brunei, in order to bring in the drone, you already have to have the proper paperwork. So that's why before I brought in, we need to get all the serial number from you guys below, and then we need to submit. Then they will endorse. Then when we get the import permit, and then we need to send it to DCA for approval, Aviation Authority. So once it's approved, we bring it in, need to send the physical drone to them for them to inspect again. So basically, everything that is why we don't have the maximum takeoff and everything, because everything has been already endorsed by them. Very strict.
So pilih lah nak, so choose lah nak strict awal-awal and then lepas tu boleh fly terus tak kisah, ataupun bawa masuk dia tak kisah, tapi setiap kali nak fly kena ni. So choose.
You can choose lah.
But in Malaysia essentially you will ask for a permit because when you want to use your drone for commercial purposes. Normally MCMC when you are using for video shooting, when you use your video shooting atau marketing, filming movie ke apa, minta pada MCMC, and then either these two, if you fly in client punya area, kena minta owner pada client, kena minta permission from client, but client yang nak kita fly kan, so kita patutnya dah okay lah. And if we are flying in government area, we need to ask dengan majlis pemandaran. So in
Same thing.
same thing lah.
Yeah.
And then the two most important one is from JUPAM and CAM. Brunei equivalent
DCA.
DCA.
Yeah, Civil Aviation
BCA.
Authority. Sorry?
BCA.
DCA.
BCA.
So basically, it's a Civil Aviation Authority government.
Ours is DCAM, but now changed to CAM. But essentially kedudukan dua orang ni, ini JUPAM ni untuk ambil gambar, CAM untuk terbang. So kita apply for the permit, then once kita dah dapat permit, dia akan tunjuklah semua in terms of the nama company, bila tarik and why is the reason kita nak fly, and then akan ada pilot punya details semua.
Same thing lah.
Same thing.
Yeah. For us, is to bring in and import is AITI, is a technical authority kat Brunei. So any technical equipment needs to go through them, and then DCA will be the one untuk terlama. More or less the same.
More or less the same lah, macam tu, sama. So, what I can say, leceh dua orang ni. Leceh. I mean, JUPAM memang government, CAM is semi-government, but both essentially government punya base. Government punya base. So unless you got someone on the inside, benda ni at least 2 weeks.
Sometimes they will look and then you need to.
Sometimes kena always follow up.
Kalau tak boleh suit.
Betul.
So, macam mana nak kata? Of course, when you apply this permit, ada bayar. That's
Fees lah.
ada fees dia. JUPAM RM50 per day. CAM RM150 per day.
Oh. Okay, no. We only pay one time for the whole equipment.
Boleh juga. Betting kan?
Okey lagi kalau sirim 1,500 per day.
Sirim certificate.
Sirim untuk apa ni? Untuk dia orang punya, so untuk orang kita buat inspection dan orang datang 1,500 kau nak charge per day. Report 3.
Prosedur.
Nak kena bayar.
Nak bayar. Tapi what I can say, the situation about the permit here, dia still dalam, macam nak kata, the situation dia is still in, ramai orang tak tahu, bukan tak tahu, ramai orang still confused. Sebab ada yang kata, oh setiap kali nak fly kena ada permit. Tapi ada yang kata, oh kalau fly area sendiri tak apa, tak perlu. Ada yang kata, oh kalau as long as ikut benda ni tak perlu. So benda tu macam still tak standardized lagi. Kat Malaysia tak standardized lagi benda tu. Even sometimes ada yang fly tak ada permit, tapi dia ibarat it's like drive kereta tak ada lesen, tak bawa lesen lah. So kalau kena tangkap, nasib lah. But in Malaysia, fine, dia punya penalty dia RM20,000 ke RM50,000.
Tapi you need to inspection punya blue.
Sebab nak fly kat klien punya tempat yang dibuat.
Tapi CAM usually the validity berapa lama
Validity.
For one permit.
Dia ada you can put the dates how long you want. Dia ada package dia ada package tahun, 6 bulan, 3 bulan.
Because kat Brunei they only give you validity of 3 months. So every 3 months, every drone that you have and every pilot needs to register balik.
After 3 months.
Every 3 months. Leceh lah.
Leceh.
And then kalau kau ada 3 drone lah kau nak semua.
For CAM, if you have 3 drones, you just have to compile all the drone into one permit.
Tu tak, ni semua ada 3 permit.
Oh.
Ibu dengan klien pun satu permit.
Tapi of course dia punya actually PEM senang dia punya permit dia isi rasanya. Permit dia apply tu senang isi. CM is a bit tedious sebab dia not only minta the location of our area, dia also minta drone, detail of the drone, spec, weight, apa semua. And then dia also minta risk assessment.
Oh, lah.
Ya, biasanya kita orang letak before flight, during flight, after flight. Tapi
Jadi the RAS.
macam-macam lah please. If
Kalau
jenis
set owner tu kat client ni sebab nanti biar kita registered by apa kan, kita ambil gambar saja lah kan. Jupem lah kan.
Japan ni
Jupem saja lah.
CM tu maybe perlu lah, especially kalau fly dekat-dekat dengan area pun. So, nak bawa soalan? Ke rasa macam lagi boleh sembang waktu makan nanti?
Boleh.
Sebab dah pukul 1, actually boleh juga kita tadi ingat tadi habis pukul 12.30, pukul 1 habis. So, kita kira finish. We finish our theory session for today.
Tomorrow ada teori lagi kan?
Tomorrow ada teori lagi. Ya kan, kita akan macam ni lah. One session theory, one session practical. So, boleh kemana barang? Kita nanti turun lunch.
Yes,
Then,
question on the exam.
sorry.
Quick question on the exam is berapa question for theory?
50 theory questions.
All MCQ.
MCQ. English. And nanti I will give bank question.
Open book or close book?
Terus lah kan.
First slide.
Open discussion.
Slide pun later I will give you lah. Okay. So
In lunch saya provide. Okay, actually on 4th day kan. Yang ada provide lunch on 4th day kan.
ada salah semua provide we provide all the lunch. So kalau nak kemas and then nak tunggu dulu sementara tunggu Darren, nanti Darren bawa ke. So boleh kemas dulu barang lah. So nanti dulu kat kedai bawah kamu nak ke mana. Right. Thank you.
For me, I'll be following you guys right later.
Yes.
So my staff